AFL season here, where we've got the Brisbane Lions taking on the Giants, GWS Giants today. A big match for both teams, of course. If we have a quick look at the ladder there, the Brisbane Lions sitting second. If they win today, they will remain in second position, clear of Port Adelaide by a game and a half, which they need to get the top two spots and a home final with just 3 rounds remaining. Of course, for the GWS Giants, they need to win and they could possibly go into that second position where they're 4th at the moment. So it's a big game for both teams at the moment. So it should be a fantastic game today, folks. We're looking forward to this one. This is anyone's game. Both teams are in fantastic form. Just move this up a bit. As I said, both teams are in fantastic form, and this is going to be anyone's match. I think we're going to be in for a tight game here. Both teams in great form, and of course, the Lions go into this game as favourite at 1:30, and the Giants underdogs at 3:35. I think, while both teams have been in scintillating form, the Lions getting the job done and in red-hot form, and the Lions came off a good win last week. They are flying as well. Let's just have a look at the lineups for both teams here. And we will see. For the Brisbane Lions, we've got Joyce coming in and Reville going out. And for the Giants, we've got Connor Stone, Lockie Keefe and Josh Kelly coming in to their lineup, with Kieran Briggs, Fonte and McMillan going out. And of course, the milestone games there is only one, and that's for Darcy Wilmot. He plays his 50th game for the Lions. He's hoping to have a victory on his celebratory game here for his 50th. We have a little bit of a look at the lineups. The Brisbane, the fullbacks, we've got Zorko, Andrew, Starcevic. The halfbacks, Wilmot, Lester Pryor. The centres, Fletcher, Ashcroft, McCluggage. The half forwards, we've got Rayner, Joe Danaher, and Berry. The forwards, we've got Cameron, Morris, Achi. The followers, McInerney, Dunkley, Lockie, Neal, and of course the interchanges there. And for the Giants, the lineup there, the fullbacks, we've got Ash, Taylor, and Udon. We've got the halfbacks, Lockie, Whitfield, Buckley, and Perryman. The centres, Callum Ward, Tom Green, Callahan. The half forwards, Daniels, Cadman, Stone. Forwards, Jones, Jesse Hogan, who's chasing down the Coleman medal, and Toby Green. The followers, Lachlan Keefe, Josh Kelly, and Bedford. There we go. So it should be in for a fantastic game. We're not too far away from this game, folks, today. We're only about 3 minutes away to the bounce of the ball. There we go. Let me stretch that out a little bit more, and then we can get the proper line there. Just make sure this is all a little bit straighter for everyone. Looks not too bad just there. Not too far away. We're going to head down to the ground to the commentators. Only about 3 minutes to go, as I said, before this bounce. We're in for a few good games here today, folks. Of course, we've got this game that we're covering today, which is the Brisbane Lions versus the GWS Giants. Next up, after this game, straight after it, we've got Fremantle versus Geelong, another big match over there in Perth. And then the final game of the evening we'll cover will be Melbourne versus Port Adelaide, another big game there with Port Adelaide in the mix in the finals there. Melbourne still trying to get in. So we're in for a great game of football today. Lots of action coming up your way. It's going to be another fantastic day. Round 22 here. AFL Action Live Football. All right, folks, we're just a couple of minutes away from the game. So I'm just going to hand you over to the commentators for the final couple of minutes before we get to the bounce of the ball. And they will discuss a few things as well. All right, folks, enjoy the big match where we've got the Brisbane Lions taking on the GWS Giants from the Gabba in Brisbane.
that defenders shouldn't lose. They've done it magnificently, and this was the case last week. They wanted Frost to Hogan, and then you'll see Grusetsky in this instance just get in the way. Hey, if you're the defender, you win this, you dictate. I just can't believe that they've been able to manipulate it in such a way over the last 5 or 6 weeks. You stick to your guns. I mean, Frost has to work hard to stay with him, and in the end, Jesse Hogan's benefited. He's been absolutely superb. He's kicked 22 goals in his last 5 weeks. He's leading the Coleman medal. He doesn't miss. His last few weeks have been 5-4, 4-4-5. He's been outstanding, and it's been a joy to watch him play.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear Sam Mitchell talk about how they got a bit consumed by it and it probably affected some of their defenders, and in the end they just had to let the Giants have their way, or worse to that effect. So it'll be fascinating to see how it plays out. And Brownie, the question earlier was which coach prefers what with that matchup today? But might they just be happy to keep Harris Andrews occupied, or will Adam Kingsley again try and work it so that Hogan can be free to jump at the footy?
Yeah, it's interesting. They like to keep Harris a bit closer to centre-half back than full-back, and certainly support the aerial contest. But if Harrison's going to play on Hogan, he needs to have that mindset that he starts with Hogan, he's going to beat him, and then he's going to intercept Mark, not get caught in between. He's got to be one or the other. If you're going to go the other way, well, obviously get the big Irishman to get out there and get back with you. He's had a broken jaw. He's come back. Give him the challenge. So it'll be fascinating. We'll pick it up very early on as to what that arm wrestle will be and who wins out.
I mean, he's so significant. I mean, you put your best defender on him, don't you? With no Riccardi out there, and just say to Cadman or say to Toby, you're going to have to pull one out again if you're going to win the game.
Well, Toby is the other factor, isn't it? He's hit form. He's kicked 17 goals in that period when Jesse's kicked 22. And between them, they've actually contributed 44% of their scores. And it's working for them at the moment, but they've got a very young forward line. Alongside them, young Darcy Jones, as you mentioned, has been in excellent form, and Cadman. So it does ask a lot of those.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see the Brisbane Lions defenders, how they cope with those slingshotting half forwards for GWS. They've got lightning speed, caused all sorts of problems when they blew Brisbane away earlier on in the season, Gary.
And they're going to have to keep an eye on Zorko as much as someone's going to have to keep an eye on Whitfield. The two dominant, creative half-backs at either end of the ground are going to be really important. It's a great setup. It's a great match. The Brisbane Lions in ripping form. You don't win 9 in a row too often. And this is the matchup we've been talking about. Looks like
it's going to go through.
Well, let's see how single-minded Harris Andrews is going to be if it is Hogan.
Taylor Danaher up the other end is going to be a great matchup. Taylor, not necessarily in the greatest of form. You know, he can improve. Joe Danaher's had a fantastic year.
Yeah, Taylor only back for a couple of weeks after that nasty injury. Well, a top 4 clash to relish, a September teaser, if you like, between 2nd and 4th. It's underway at the Gabba. How will Keefe handle this battle with McInerney? That's the question for his first game this year, first game since the preliminary final last year. He is 204 centimetres, so they're evenly matched size-wise, same height listed as McInerney.
So the ring of rosies on down the other end. So Harris Andrews trying to get to Jesse Hogan. You see up the top of the screen. Let's see how long that lasts for.
Need a little bit of music, don't we? For it.
Yeah, we do.
I'm with Gaz. Just stay on him.
Yeah.
Just play on him.
How would you burn you boys? You're big key forwards. If you could go out and say, listen, I don't play on you. I'd rather play on him. It's just ridiculous.
Take your number. Out of the middle, Tom Green, the last gasp hero last week for the Giants. Sensational comeback against Hawthorn. There's Darcy Jones out of the lead. Toby Green kicked 2 goals in that last quarter. Jones herring after it again with Perryman. Wilmot in game number 50.
Just another important matchup, Gaz, is Starcevic on Toby Green.
Yeah.
That's going to be a huge one.
And Daniels and Zorko I just see there as well, so keep an eye on that one.
Green missed that round 7 clash earlier in the year. It's the only game he's missed all season, as did the Big O. Now Zorko doing it one-handed, just to emphasise how skillful he is. And Gaz, I know that's not a direct matchup, but in a way it is, isn't it, with Zorko at one end and Whitfield at the other?
100%. I mean, teams have put their premier defensive player onto creative half-backs, and there are no more creative half-backs than Zorko at one end and Whitfield at the other.
Brent Daniels was pivotal in that comeback as well last week. 12 disposals and a big long goal in that final turn. So he's playing forward at the start today.
And it looks like Toby Bedford's going to Lockie Neal right in front of Lynchy over there.
Connor Ryden has the job on Charlie Cameron in his 150th game as a Lion. Tom Green heaves it back to the middle. Starcevic, even when he's out of position, he's still in position. Leicester on the surge for the Lions. It's Danaher's ball. Just has enough. Just. And he should go back and kick the first.
Yeah, terrific front half team, the Lions. This is their strength, Gaz, whether it be from stoppage or from turnover, and they can get it to Danaher 1 out. Probably not going as well as Hogan, but he's certainly close, and he can take a strong mark. He's full of confidence at the moment.
Zorko involved again early, had a couple of touches. It's just so important. Daniels push up into that contest. You leave Dane Zorko at home to your peril.
Yeah.
4 goals, 3 last week against the Saints. He's kicked 11 goals over the past 4 weeks. Game 198 today for Big Joe. And he's put it right through the middle, just between the wrong posts.
That sums up Joe, I reckon. Great contested mark against the Premier defender and misses from 25 out.
All those young kids are flat. They would have heard the Frozen theme song very early in the day.
It's probably a bit early for it, really. Browning. Play on! Whitfield. Had 10 score involvements last week. It's pivotal in that last quarter as well in the turnaround. There's Lockie Whitfield, the most disposals in the competition, 3rd most on average, but the most in sheer numbers. Inflated a bit by the fact that he plays on from fullback rather regularly. McInerney has his way. McCluggage was on the move to Fletcher, looks to the inside. I think it was meant for Bailey. It got there eventually, off the left boot. Stumbled a bit, Rayner. He's a force to be reckoned with, surely not from there. So a couple of early misses for 2 of their guns. Ash eases into the back pocket. At the last moment goes short and cute to Ward. And there's Ash's agility on the follow-on after the kick-in. That doesn't look too flash either off the boot, but it works all right for Darcy Jones, who realises he can bounce once. It's a pretty open forward line. The lead was on from Cadman, so Joyce is watching him off the left. How's that from Cadman? Oh, the kid! The kid can play. Or did it? Clip the post. It's a bit of an anti-climax of modern footy, isn't it?
I hope it didn't clip the flag, Hunter.
You kick your best goal of your career so far.
One of your great calls early in the game too.
Umpire's calls are behind, hit the post. Can we please check?
Review underway.
While we wait, the ball movement from the Giants' back half was impressive. They're going to go by hand, we know that. They kick the handball ratios high, as high as any in the comp. If they get through,
Back at the dot.
and they're dangerous enough.
We're seeing the 2 contrasting styles, Gaz. Brisbane a front half team, which they were able to have 2 shots early, and now Giants have transitioned from one end of the ground to the other.
So that's what makes today's contest really appetising, Brad.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great matchup in that regard. Styles make fights, Hutto.
It's a real test for you two analysts, I think, today, is to just make sure you can get the trends right early.
Well, didn't you hear what Jonathan just said?
Oh, I did.
Styles make fights. It's an insightful early line.
Just
While we wait for
we're
this,
just waiting for the judges.
Hey, Gary, great to see Cadman back there. There's the sticko. He's just
Review complete. Look at these angles. We'd see a spike on edge as the ball passes the post. Decision on the scoreboard.
Kicked his 20th goal of the season last week. Thought he had his 21st.
Yeah, he's growing in confidence, no question about it. As we've spoken about many times, Gaz, these key forwards can take quite a while to mature.
It's a big call to play both him and Krzyzewski, isn't it, at the moment?
Might suggest that they're not quite sure about either of them yet too, Hutto, I guess. But we've seen what's happened with Jamara. You give them some time, they'll get there.
Leicester feeding Zorko. This is the way they play, although there was some ball falling well short of Andrews. Good enough to keep it away from Cadman. Back through Dunkley again. So they had to reroute here the line, so a little minor win for the Giants. Of course, it becomes a major one if they can intercept, but they can't here yet.
Big Oscar McInerney just trying to test Keith forward. So he's running forward at every opportunity. He's now settled almost as the deepest line.
Joyce with the helmet, and Archie. Talk about confidence. Kicked the match winner a few weeks ago against the Swans, driving. There's exactly the move that McInerney has made.
So this is a marking team we're watching in action, Brisbane, and they've taken 7. The Giants want to go by hand. They haven't taken a mark at all yet. And that's a nice one. That's a nice one of the 7.
Ashcroft. Of course, his brother confirming that he'll be a Lion from next year. Levi. Brain. He centred the ball. It was a good squaring one for Danaher, who made his claims for the free. Buckley stretching the handball. Thomas playing beyond his years so far. Has played every game. And they get to half-back. Daniels. One-on-one. Joyce was seemingly out of position, but he's done well to deny Cadman. Now the ground battle. As he dived on it effectively. He's hatched it. Leicester snatches anyway. Pinpoint accuracy from Zorko. Sets up Dunkley. So reliable through the middle.
38 marks to zip Brisbane. High uncontested mark team.
Fletcher, his best game of the season last week with 19 disposals, finding some good form. Again, into deeper water. McInerney didn't fly. Taylor with the spoil. Bailey out of taps.
Really interesting to watch here, Gaz. So McInerney pushing forward at every opportunity and almost staying forward while the play's on. We know Hipwood's not there, but I think it's a real test for Keefe. He's not a regular ruckman, just trying to challenge him forward. We know he's a very good key position marker, Oscar McInerney, so bringing that strength to the game.
Position, Keefe is a defender, isn't he? He's played a lot of footy as a defender, so maybe part of a bit of tire him out as well. Kelly, the important inclusion that we mentioned at the start of the coverage. Hogan is a long way from home there. Joyce took it and didn't quite know what to do next. Toby Green, an excellent tackle under the circumstances and could have been rewarded. It wasn't, and the show goes on. Dunkley, there's two Giants there to get organised, two experienced ones as well. Misfire from Tom Green. Rayner was onto it. Cameron, here comes Danaher again. He realises first that it was going goal side. Just had to pick it up, or maybe he didn't. Got it anyway.
So just, again, Joe Danaher his best, but the style of game that they're trying to play the Giants, you just see in action again, and then the awareness of Brisbane to know that they want to flick this by hands. Look at this handball from Tom Green. It's almost an automatic. Get the ball, look inside, and he gave it without really thinking too much about who was around. And if Brisbane are aware and they are alert to this, and how can you not be, given that they've taken 9 marks and the Giants haven't taken any, that's a terrific result.
Just warning signs early, Gaz. Contested footy. We saw last week Brisbane had the biggest differential against St Kilda, plus 43. They're already plus 9 today.
Yeah.
So I don't think Adam Kingsley would be wrapped with that number. They need to start to balance up around the contest, at least break even.
Danaher's only had 3 goalless games this year. One of them was against the Giants in that huge loss in Canberra back on Anzac Day. He has one of each so far today, and that's high on Ashcroft.
Set it right up. Thanks, Lockie. Stand.
So Keefe's on the mark here, and McInerney again can look to go forward.
Play on.
He's in the inside 50 on his own, Oscar.
Ashcroft with the setup then. Iden tried to come late, but he couldn't get there. And that's what happened, because these days, once you're on the mark, you're on the mark.
No, well, you picked it beautifully, and then we had a look down the ground, and no GWS Giants players seemed to peel off and recognise the fact that Lockie Keefe is standing the mark, Brownie. So surely one of those defenders or one of those wingers or midfielders has got to say, Lockie Keefe's on the mark, where's Oscar McInerney? And he was waving his arms inside forward 50 on his own for about 3 or 4 seconds.
It's a smart move, especially with Hipwood not there, and we know they've got a really good key defensive post there for GWS, so challenge them in the air.
And for a ruckman, he's actually a good kick at goal. 6-3 for the season, and he shows it again. They've made a hot start, as they so often do.
Well, let's just have a look at it. I mean, centre bounce, this is what happens when you don't play much ruck, and it's his first game in the ruck for a long time, and so he gives the free kick, or the free kick's given away by Lockie Keefe. There goes Oscar. He's off. Which one of these Giants blokes turned his head? Has Himmelberg decided to come off his man Zach Bailey and go and cover for him? It's too late. You're all pointing and no one's going.
You're spot on, Gaz. Himmelberg was the man that needed to come back. He ended up on Zach Bailey, which is the wrong matchup.
And when you're sitting in the box looking for a sign, whether your head's in the game and you're switched on, that there is a great example of saying, hey, the selflessness of coming away from what's safe. Himmelberg played safe. Let him go. Let someone else get Bailey.
And good work from Logan Morris there, just to put a block on Iden so he couldn't spoil as well. So good teamwork.
It's an early blow, isn't it? In this battle in the ruck between McInerney and Keefe. He's got forward, he's kicked a goal. Pushing his case for all Australian is the big O. Kelly to centre half forward. Leicester played his 200th last week. The ultimate selfless player, according to the coach. Lohman and Ashcroft, part of the next young brigade at the Brisbane Lions. Strength through the core. Wilmot, his kick was smothered, and I think the Giants will be happy just to gum this up a little for a minute or two.
Well, they've got to realise and understand the state of the game. The contested possession number keeps blowing out at the moment for Brisbane.
So we just saw a glimpse, still that battle going on as who's playing on Hogan, but it's irrelevant at the moment because the footy's being played at the other end of the ground. This is Henry Smith, popped up and keeps it towards full forward again. Iden did cop one high from Lohman, not seen by the umpire. Kelly has to tackle Ashcroft. He did it with care. Smith just gets the ball onto the boot. He needed a bounce to go his way, still seeking his first goal in AFL footy.
Sam Taylor's got his hands full so far with Joe Dano looking very dangerous. They're trying to isolate Joe at every opportunity.
Don't worry about the ring of roses down the other end. Chris Fagan could be playing on Jesse Hogan. It doesn't matter. They've been inside 50 once.
It would be rather unprecedented, though, wouldn't it, to have the coach lining up at full back. McInerney with the take again to Morris, and then the screw from Dunkley. Well, this scoreboard really doesn't reflect the dominance yet, Brownie.
No, it doesn't. That stoppage dominance. That's where Oscar McInerney hit-outs and hit-outs to advantage sometimes can be an overrated stat. I don't think it is with McInerney. Quite often he either grabs it out of the ruck, whacks it forward, or puts it down the throat of Lockie Neal, and it's usually a very effective clearance, and so far today he's already showing that.
Jack Buckley places it out there for Taylor. They're outpointed by Joyce.
Great effort to be back. Broke his jaw a couple of weeks ago in the second quarter and played the rest of the game out. Tough Irishman.
5 years at St Kilda for 13 games, 2 at the Lions for 8 so far. That's where the numbers are, and Morris. Gee, at the moment, this Giants defence is under siege and they need to work something out quickly.
It's all happening in front of you, Lynchy. What's going on down there with the Giants defenders?
Well, outside probably the first 5 minutes last week as well, they were belted in through the midfield from Hawthorn. From memory, it was 8 centre clearances to zip, and it's a similar sort of feel. They're very reactive, and just that metre off the pace, and just putting the defence under a lot of pressure. And class of this young man here, he's standing up.
What a first season he's having. 16 goals, 9 in his 12 games so far. And he's only getting better.
Oh, well, there's just panic stations everywhere from the Giants' point of view. The way this game's unfolding is exactly how you would expect the Brisbane Lions to want it to unfold. Dominating at clearance, dominating contested footy. Their key forwards are marking the ball, and their backline's not getting exposed because it hasn't gone in there. It's just a magnificent start, and we're going to find out about this Giants side, whether they're a contender. I know they're fourth on the ladder. It might be a false four, because we understand it's a tight race at the moment. But the Giants at their best don't allow this sort of stuff. That's Jack Buckley, that's Sam Taylor when he's in ripping form. They don't get marked upon like that. And I know he's a talented kid, but that would indicate that the status quo remains.
What a contrast to the Sydney Swans in first quarters.
Yeah.
17, including the last 9, they've won opening terms, and they're well on their way again. Free kick to
McCluggage. Yeah, McCluggage, he's been in fantastic form as well. And forced contested marks to zip in favour of the Lions.
Taking a mark.
Three-quarter kick that time. It fell at the back. Joe had time to line it up, and now he's got one of each. A goal behind it, an OF.
He gives us one every week.
It was hard to beat last week's too, wasn't it, Brownie?
It was. At least that one was in the air, Hunter. Last week.
Not a single mark being taken by the Giants in a half a quarter of footy.
Whitfield plays it extremely wide. Cadman did his best, Thomas submits.
And this is a great sign too, because Lockie Whitfield's ability to find the next target is almost unsurpassed. But when he looks up Brownie, there's no easy exit.
This is the time when Jesse Hogan, I think, should come up the field. Gaz, he's the experienced forward there, sending Cadman up, but just for his own game especially, just to get himself into the game as well and at least give a target to his teammates.
Well, that wasn't far off coming together for Lockie Neal either. Goes the second time, turned at the last moment in the tackle. Good nose over the footy stuff from both teams, but Archie that came out. Tapped away Iden, there's Smith, knew where he had to do next. The hands were sharp, now Zorko off the boot, and again, there's options everywhere, and Archie.
The best sign I've seen so far for Brisbane Lions supporters in this first 10 minutes of footy is Will Ashcroft's game. His fanaticism around the ball and his willingness to put his head in the hole is in stark contrast to what we're seeing from any GWS Giants.
Spot on, 3 clearances already, goes 5 of these 6 touches have all been contested.
2 goals won last week. He's goaled in 7 of his last 8 games. He hasn't goaled there.
Well, Joe's missed 2, and that one should have been a gettable one. They should be 6 goals to zip.
So that's 7 shots at goal, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, I repeat, they just can't possess the footy. This will be their first mark for the game.
It's taken by Kelly, one of the prime movers in the competition when he's up and running, and so is this guy, Toby Green. So a couple in a row. After the hesitation. There's 2 on 1, and Andrews just comes across. Grzelski had no real opportunity there.
Yeah, well, he was on his own there, so Hogan nowhere to be seen. It's Harris Andrews playing to his strengths. He's at the most intercept marks in the competition comfortably this year, Harris Andrews.
Cameron identifying Joyce, who's made a fine start to this game. Loman just got the slightest push in the back.
But again, too easy, just kicking their way out of the back half to uncontested marks.
Oh, and a little minor faulty effort there from Morris, so it does allow the Giants to start to get into their handball game. Callahan. At full stretch, Thomas.
Stand. Lay on. Lay on.
And season low 5 disposals last week, Thomas, and that's easy pickings for Brain across half back.
Love to see Jesse Hogan just start to get himself more in line with the ball, just get more involved.
Careful on the way out. Now he can go. Cameron. At the half forward, Fletcher realises that's for him.
Just working his way back into form, Hutto.
Yep.
The last few weeks had a slow start to the year.
Here's the setup for Danaher, but predictable. Perryman.
Got to be a bit smarter coming out of their back half. The Giants, they're going, as you said, Brownie, they're going long down the line, and Hogan's not there as the bailout kick. So again, they're going to be forced to go long. Got to have someone here to make a big contest.
And it's only Andrews that comes like Hogan was in the picture that time. Whitfield not bothering to wait, just whacks it forward, but again it goes to Brisbane's favour. Smith on the short, nice take from McCluggage. Again, Ashcroft, it's downfield.
Yes.
They don't need that. Joe's put his hand up. He was about the 3rd Brisbane player away from where the ball landed.
You have a spell, Joe. You just go back and let someone else have a look at it. Looks like Ryan Lester's just going to settle on Logan, and they're going to use Harris as the drop-off at the moment anyway. I know they can dictate it because it's 12 inside 50s to 2, but they've got all sorts of issues all over the ground.
Kai Loman, as you can see, just 21 years of age, started the season in the first 3 rounds as the sub, but he's very much part of their combination now, lining up for his 23rd goal of the season. There's been licorice all sorts in front of goal from the Lions, and that's about the only thing that is keeping the Giants in this contest.
Just the old screen test at the moment. Who's got more players in the TV screen? And it's clearly the Brisbane Lions at the moment. They're plus 17 contested possession.
It's unbelievable.
Kelly, even he can't make the connection that he covets. Nice take from Bedford under the circumstances. Ash kept on coming. There's a good lunge from Danaher, but he knows when to swerve, does Ash, and he has the pace. Ward, and across to Iden. Halloran up on the wing. He goes longer than that, but it's cleared Keefe's head and Starcevic.
I don't know how much of it's the Brisbane Lions, but I'm sensing a lethargy amongst the GWS players at the moment. Just their ability to go from contest to contest is not there. There's a lot of jogging going on at the moment, Lynchy.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is very similar to last week. They couldn't find the corridor and couldn't move the ball. It was all Hawthorn. Then they lit it up in the last quarter.
Ashcroft plays the pocket, plays it for Cameron.
Well, the ruthless teams take advantage of any perceived lethargy, any inaction in the ability to move the footy. All those things are real that the boys are pointing out. Then you just got to drive home your advantage here. And they've kicked 3 goals forward. They should have kicked at least 6 goals, I would imagine. So you've just got to now invoke a ruthlessness.
Game 150 is a line. What a pick-up he's been. Charlie Cameron from the boundary. It's time to crank up the music around the Gabba.
I don't think Gabba love this too. This is when the opposition finds it difficult to stop momentum. When this song plays, when John Denver just puts a few in a row together, that's a problem. And Charlie Cameron just working his way back into form the last few weeks. He's been doing a lot of the team things, a lot of the defensive pressure acts. Just watch it here with Ward. That's an odd matchup for me, Gaz. Not sure about that one. I like that matchup if you're a Brisbane Lions supporter.
Yeah, we'll see whether he was covering. I would suggest Callum Ward's played wing most of the year. He may have been covering. But the thing about this is, contested possession, you've spoken about 27-10. Uncontested marks are 23-6. So they're smashing them on the inside, and they've got no capacity to close them down on the outside.
11 scores now from 13 entries, the Lions.
I'll get to the second,
still going.
I'll get to the second verse in a minute.
Well, they've got to sort this midfield out. They're getting obliterated through the middle of the ground.
I don't think Kings are going to last long in the coach's box. He'll be down the boundary soon, I reckon. Zorko gets them in again. Smith, here's Charlie. The last thing they need is Charlie to get hot. High ball for Rayner.
I'm looking at the page. I'm going, what else could go right for the Lions? And that's to get one of their hottest players in the competition in the last 6 weeks involved. And lo and behold, Cam Rayner goes and sits on Lockie Whitfield's head.
Not bad if you're a fan of the 70s and the 80s. John Denver into Neil Diamond. And this one goes through.
Gee, they've got to take stock. They've got to take stock here, the Giants. Otherwise, they're staring down the barrel. This has been as dominant as... I know there's been some dominant quarters lately.
Well, it's taken longer than many would have hoped, but Cam Rayner has become a dominant force in the competition over the last 6 weeks. He's kicked multiple goals in all of those 6 games. He too joins the list of misses.
Bugbear Gary running too close to the man on the mark.
He did too. He lost his perspective. 14 inside 50s to 2.
22.
What we've seen in recent weeks with the Giants, in case of emergency, they roll Brent Daniels and Toby Green into the midfield. They've got to get them in there now.
Yeah. Last week it was the last quarter, wasn't it, Lynchy? But they've got to go early today, it would seem.
100%. Lynchy, it's a great call just to try and get some leadership around the ball as well. Toby's got to take control here.
Callahan went to the numbers. It fell well short. Brain was onto it. Loman again.
And whilst we're focusing on the Giants, let's take nothing away from Brisbane.
Absolutely.
So this is why they've won 9 games in a row and are the hottest team in the competition. It's just so exciting for the Gabba crowd. They can start anticipating massive crowds over the next couple of weeks when it matters most.
McInerney and Keith locked up again. Ashcroft couldn't get his way out, but the big ruckman does with the handball. It might have been high. No, it's not. Kelly's found the footy on his return. 6 disposals so far. Tom Green. Ashcroft again.
High. He looks sharp, Hutto. He's taken a little while to find his feet again, but gee whiz, he could be the September wildcard, this kid.
Frustrations on the faces of the Giants at the moment. Ashcroft took something off the kick. Top of the square is where the action is. Or Morris looking for a free. Through the head back. Just the problem was he didn't get tackled. It's back in dispute again. Whitfield flipped it up to Ward. The hands were lightning quick. Green came away from Danaher, who pinpoints Daniels.
We've got 2-on-1 down the line here.
Aggressive kick into the middle. Staying in attacking mode. Thomas and Cameron, the young and the old of it. Thomas fights a good battle. Callahan's hands were decisive. Halloran deep and wide. First real opportunity for Jesse Hogan, and it's gone like that.
Well, the kick to the middle of the ground was brave. That's the nicest way to describe it. But once it came off, they had to find Jesse Hogan, who had some space out the back.
We've got to get to quarter time here without any further damage, you would think. And they snag a late goal in this opening term. Plenty on the move. Brent Daniels. Green up and under. And Bailey found a way to take the mark.
Not all those Brisbane Lions players had a slow start to the year, Hutto.
Yep.
Just working himself back into form. He's a dynamic player. Along with Rayner, along with Loman.
And a big game player, as we saw in the grand final last year, Morris.
It's a good point, Brownie. So Fletcher as well, Bailey, Rayner, Ashcroft back from injury are all just starting to hum for the Lions.
So Darcy Wilmot's playing his 50th game today, Brownie, and there's 8 players that are young, played less games than him.
Yeah, spot on. He's been a star. He's probably the best first 50 since McCluggage, probably. You know, if you look at that, that's how highly they rate him at the Lions.
50 consecutive games debuted in a final. Here's Danaher on the big roll around. Didn't quite get enough of it. McCluggage outnumbered and outsized.
And this is where Brisbane are at their strength, at their strongest. So they lock in the front half. Highest front half turnover team in the competition. They're very good at these forward 50 stoppage situations. They've got multiple targets. That's the challenge for opposition defences here. Which one do you try and stop? Is it Neil? Is it Charlie Cameron? Is it Hugh McCluggage? Cam Rayner as well.
Giants have an extra body there. It's Callaghan who's got to help out his teammates because Rayner is ever dangerous. Ashcroft, a hard man to tackle. Boy, what the score could be.
Ali.
Oh, it's exciting. If you're a Lions supporter, just seeing these young kids emerge and then get led by Will Ashcroft, it's as exciting as you can hope for right now. And they're doing it all with Lachie Neale having minimal input.
Neil being tagged. Ashcroft has 10 disposals, leads all comers. 2 minutes remaining in a quarter of football that has been totally dominated by the home team. Oh, look at that. Almost disastrous. Somehow they get out of it. Perryman with the tidy up. Through Peatling and now Callaghan. Puts some length on the kick to Keith. And the veteran has his first touch, takes the mark. But can't clear Starcevic. Even when they do go forward, Brownie, they just can't get that last
spot on. He's playing on Toby Green. So last week, Sydney got absolutely pummeled for being minus 24 at quarter time against Port Adelaide. Today, GWS minus 24 contested possession. I'd like to see Adam Kingsley's response at the quarter time huddle.
Oh, yeah. You could just write that one up on the whiteboard and then just starts eyeballing a few. Just see whether they eyeball him back.
A few heads down.
Yes.
Back row, I'd say.
Dunkley down the line. Danaher's hands were all over it. At the back, Whitfield gets another handball chain going. It didn't last long. Rayner, it's going the other way instead. They are sweeping forward. Lachie Neale to the vacant goal square, so he's relying on the bounce. Awkward though for Kelly. It just hung there, did it in the air, so when he took it, he was taken by Bailey. That's not a bad result.
One of the few mistakes Lachie Neale's made for the year, I reckon. That kick.
His back half of the year's been sensational, hasn't it?
He's a Brownlow medal watch, massive watch, come Monday night before the grand final.
So 19 inside 50s to 4. The margin could be so much more than 29 points. Tussle in the ruck. McInerney grabs it out. Can't get it to boot. Picked up by Zorko. Oh, and he hits the post as well. What is going on?
It's just, we reeled off a few names who are forward 50 targets, so I didn't bank on Dane Zorko running down there and being one of the targets at a stoppage. Everyone's queuing up.
Yeah, they're all getting in line, Brownie, and got their bowl out and their spoon. And they say, give me a piece of this, please.
Well, the plus 15 inside 50s, Brisbane Lions, the game is all down that end of the ground.
Ash has the footy in his hand, and that's quite a rare sight in this opening term for the Giants to have the football, because it's Brisbane. It's Brisbane all the way, and the margin, the damage could be so much greater than 30 points. They have kicked 4 goals, 7 from 19 inside 50s. The Giants a measly 1 behind to show for the first 30 minutes. Thankfully, there's still 3 big quarters to go.
All right, there we go, folks. It's quarter time here at the Gabba, and it is all the Brisbane Lions. They are dominating all the way across the ground, 4-7-31. To the Giants, a solitary behind 1 point. Hey, what the score could have been further in front had the Lions been a little bit straighter and not hit the post a couple of times. They would have been further in front. But the Giants, they're just all baffled at the moment. They don't know which way to look, left or right. They can't stop this Lions pressure at the moment. It's just incredible. And we are seeing the best team in the competition at the moment, the flag favourites, the Brisbane Lions, dominate their skill, their class, and everything like that. But make no mistakes, the Giants will settle and they will come back. So the Lions don't want to take it too easy. They need to keep on playing like they're doing. That is for sure. So we're expecting a little bit better, more contested game from both from the Giants. Let me get this. I don't want the season average. Hang on, let me just reload this up, folks, and let's have a little bit of a look at the player stats. Yo, Al, how you going? Yeah, the Sydney Swans. I don't know if they'll win this year or not. I'll tell you what, the Sydney Swans were very lucky. They shouldn't have won that game last night. There was a mark, and then there should have been a free kick. There should have been a 50-metre penalty given to Collingwood in the last 30 seconds of the game, which would have given Stay a shot on goal 10 metres out. Would have put it through. Would have put the Pies in front, but the umpires were just too scared to pay that, which would have been paid all day long anywhere else with the Sydney Swans player running well and truly over the mark. So they got away with that one. They were pretty lucky, but I think Brisbane is the team to beat for sure this year. Eddie G, what's going on? Karaoke King, wow, Brisbane, they are on fire. As you can see, Ryan's in the house. How you going? Brett Strickland, how are you? Carly, thanks for coming in. E.T. was in there, and Sniper. Will Ashcroft is a leading disposal getter on the ground at the moment with 11. They're just having a party out there. With the ball, Dane Zorko, 10. Lockie Whitfield, 7. And Iden, 7. Josh Dunkley was 7. Let's run down the stats a little bit. Charlie Cameron's come out with a good first quarter with 6 kicks. No handballs. He snagged a goal. He's doing well. McCluggage on 6. Lockie Neal with 5. He was a little bit quiet, so that's only more danger for the Giants with a star like him being a little bit quiet. Tom Green just with a 5. Callum Ward 4. Joey Danaher, he's had the 4. Of course, 4 kicks, no handballs. Mr. No Handball, he's kicked 1 goal, 1. He's looked lively today in the first quarter. Starcevich on 3, so we keep going down a little bit. Achi with the 3 touches, just the 1 behind there. Jesse Hogan, not on the board yet, not getting any opportunity there for the Giants, just with the 2 disposals, 1 kick, 1 handball. All right, let's just duck back up. We'll just have a look at the goal scorers there, and I don't think there's any multiples. No, it's just Logan Morris, McInerney, Joey Danaher, Charlie Cameron. They are the goal scorers just at the moment. Let's just have a quick look at the team stats. Want to have a look at the inside 50s for both teams. Have a look at the pure domination here from the Lions. 20 inside 50s already. That's a third of their season's average just after the first quarter. 20 inside 50s for 11 scoring shots, and the Giants have only managed 4 inside 50s for 1 minor behind. Now, the Giants' average inside 50s are 51, so they're well and truly well behind on that. But the Lions dominating 42 possessions ahead in the first quarter. Free kicks, wowee. 6 free kicks to the Lions, none yet to the Giants. Hit-outs, Lions in control there, as with the clearances, as with the centre clearances, as with the stoppages. This is just pure dominance by a top-class side in the first quarter of this game today. Contested possessions, 40-15, uncontested. The only thing the Giants are really winning here is the turnovers, and that's coming from the great pressure from the Brisbane Lions. Even the marks, 35-15 to the Lions. Inside 50 marks, 6-0. Well, the Giants have got to do something. Fresh Links, yo, greetings. How you going? Welcome in. Welcome in. So look at the tackles now. 13-8. Well, the Giants are doing more tackles. That's because they haven't really got the ball. They've got to tackle, try and get the ball back. Tackles inside 50, Lions 2. There we go. We're going to head back down to the ground in just a moment. Let me just roll this back up. Put this back over where it's supposed to be. We are just about ready for the bounce of the ball, but I was going to let everyone know the other game being played at the moment. Let me just bring that up. And that is a game that is, well, hasn't really got too much value today. But anyway, that's playing at Bloodstone Arena in Hobart, and that's between North Melbourne and the West Coast Eagles. And it's North Melbourne leading by 5 points at quarter time, 26 North Melbourne, 21 to the West Coast. And we're back down to the ground for the second quarter.
Getting the tap. Neil taken care of. Peatling gets back to his feet impressively. And he's taken high.
Well, that's a start. At least get some territory. He saw none of this in the first quarter.
Peatling's a tackling machine, but he has to use it wisely here. And Hogan comes out and prevails. And that is a start.
Yeah, Harris Andrews just came off Hogan there and he decided to try and back himself in and go for the intercept mark. Misread it in the air. Well read by Jesse Hogan, who hasn't had much involvement as well. Joyce was on him. Just see, looked for Hogan, but couldn't quite see. Didn't turn the head quick enough.
What a season he's having. 58 goals, 19. 5 goals too last week. Got the full 10 coaches' votes. And if ever he needs a big bag, it's today. He made that more difficult than it was, but somehow he's kicked it.
That is astonishing.
That is just
For a bloke that is
oddity.
such a good kicker goal, the best kicker goal at the moment, the most accurate kicker in the AFL, to just increase the degree of difficulty by about 50%.
He may very well. It was a terrific mark. How frustrating that they haven't been able to give him this opportunity through sheer weight of possessions. But, yep, that's different.
So it only just got there. The stutter and then the set snap, Brownie. That's not a mix, is it? That can't be.
It looked like he changed his mind late.
He did, didn't he? Yeah. But he kicked it. Don't draw pictures. Probably should have had someone on the goal line there, the Brisbane Lions. They would have thought that Jesse was going to clearly make the distance. They'd had someone there. They may have been able to touch that.
It's still on in the goal square. Trying to fight for position. Out of the middle, Peetling again. Advantage, and it does go the Giants' way. Quick transformation if they can score again. One for Jesse, wouldn't Toby Green? Will have to get another here, and he's got one of the best close-checking small-medium defenders in the competition up against him, Brownie.
Yeah, he really does. Starsvich is the man they like to go for a lockdown role. They've got Wilmot, they've got Zorko, they've got the runners there, but he's the one man that'll shut down a player.
So a bit more of a hush around the Gabba now. The Giants getting their turn. Berry did well despite the pressure, and then he ran into Toby Green, and that's enough for the umpire. Starcevic claimed that he got the handball away, Berry.
Toby Green hold the tackle.
Yeah, well, he blew it right at the cusp of being too late and too long. But hey, this is what we're seeing here is just give Peetling a pat on the back.
Yep.
So he's had 2 centre bounce clearances. He kicks this, and all of a sudden, what's going through the Brisbane players' minds is, geez, we missed some opportunities in that first quarter. It's exactly what the game needs.
That's exactly what the Giants need. Their leaders lead, and they've kicked 2.
Yeah, I think that's a bad decision by the umpire, but well done to it's all about, you're right, the Giants. Getting territory there, get the contest right. They've obviously been able to get into the forward 50 and capitalise. Yes, there's a mistake here, I think, by the umpire. You have to hold a tackle if you're going to get paid holding the ball.
Yeah,
but they made the most of the opportunity.
Mayer blew that just fractionally early, didn't he? I think he thought he was going to hold on, Toby Green. But anyway, it's a goal to Hogan, goals to Hogan and Green, and 2 centre bounce clearances. So that's the sort of response Kingsley's looking for. You take what comes your way, and not much has gone their way at all. Not through no fault of Brisbane's. They've just dominated. But Adam Kingsley wanted a response. He's had the first 2 centre bounce clearances, the first 2 goals in the second quarter.
Yeah, they certainly responded to him last week. They came storming home to finish over the top of Hawthorn. They're channeling that again, and Peetling is the man that delivers out to half forward. Darcy Jones back to Callahan. Snaps it forward. O'Halloran from the side. Daniels to Bedford. Cut his teeth as a small forward. To Cadman, they inch a little closer and get it out.
Just sense of reset there. The centre bounce set up, so they know they're more than likely GWS going to lose the centre bounce hit out. So Keith standing beside McInerney there, and then the GWS midfielders are being very accountable there, just almost trying to neutralise the centre bounce, and now they're winning it.
Keith sneaks out the back. Work to do for Fletcher. Callahan vigilant and held him to account.
I think Keith wants to stand beside McInerney, so if you're Oscar McInerney, don't allow it. Go the old school route and just go straight at him. Get the run up and try and stick the knee up into him.
Dance around the footy as you'd expect. Keith, a wild handball forward. Daniels onto it to Ward, and they've kicked the 3rd. What a change.
Well, Lockie Keefe's giving them a lift here, Hutto. He's really given them some spark out of the midfield, and obviously their mids have got at the ground level. Mids have got rolling. They've got the territory. That man indeed. So We know he's a part-time ruck when he's come in. It's a big role against Oscar McInerney, one of the premier rucks in the competition, but just handball it forward. There's that Giants handball game again. Keep some speed on it. Daniels through the contest is always very dangerous. Good finish by Ward.
Yeah, it's Daniels v Zorko. So Zorko gets, look, he's a ball watcher. He's gone, Daniels. So that's the sort of MO that they've got to bring. You can't let Brisbane dictate. Dane Zorko will in this game dictating, sitting back, doing what he's done all year. Get on the move. Ask the question. Zorko started the contest. Daniels works his way through and gets free, and Ward kicks the goal 3 in a row, and they're breathing again, the Giants.
There we go. Oscar now going to run and jump this time instead of standing beside Keith.
McInerney does win the tap. Dunkley couldn't get much purchase on the kick, and Kelly, I think, happy to absorb. That's 10 goals straight for Cullen Ward this year, which is quite amazing for the veteran.
Yeah, well, they've been impressive with their accuracy this year, Hutto. Number 3 in the comp, GWS, 1 from last month.
Very rarely goes into the centre bounce these days. Iden through multiple hands. Pete Ling again played his part. So does Perryman, although the kick was a bit heavy for young Thomas.
How often do you hear contest and clearance, contest and clearance? So second quarter, out they come. 8-3 contest in favour of the Giants, and from a clearance point of view, 6-zip. Contest and clearance.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
Coaches would love to have timeouts, wouldn't they, the way this season is going. Daniels again escapes up around the footy, makes a huge difference. Hogan wasn't far off. Look at the numbers swelling. O'Halloran off the left. He just tempers the kick for Ward. Good contest from Berry. Now Hogan at ground level, feeding it back for Himmelberg. A rare venture forward for him this year. Mind on the job from Lohman, but they come again with renewed confidence. Iden feeding Peatling. He's everywhere. Gets it deep and forward. Cadman not far off, but Andrews a hard man to tame. Scrapes the handball out. Rayner made his own luck there, and he identifies Lohman. Did it well.
Yeah, let's just need some marks in the lines. Just get some control. Take some speed off the game. They don't want a quick game. Certainly not in terms of GWS's speed of game that they like.
He talked about at the start how Brisbane have been able to stop the momentum of other teams in the back half of the season. The Giants have kicked 3 in a row here, and Daniels was on the hunt. They still might win the footy back.
Yeah, that was fascinating. Daniels is tracking Zorko, but he's got such great awareness, and he was pointing behind him, but then he went to it. So he's had a great 3 or 4 minutes. Daniels been so important.
Can have a huge impact in a short period of time. What about this man?
Hey.
Peatling comes away. Gets them deep again. Lester. Daniels. Lester to Berry. Had to give up a little bit of ground, but it'll work well for them.
Just want to watch them playing tricks as well. Toby Green going up in a stoppage. Daniels spitting forward. So it's causing some mismatch there with Zorko and Starcevic. They need to be in strong communication.
We saw a bit of that last week too, didn't we? Archie. And some holding. It's going to Henry Smith against Buckley. It's his innocence.
Big O got confused there. Big fella.
And you think his name was Henry, did he?
He didn't know Henry.
There's the cluster at the top of the goal square. The big O is there. Took 2 to stop him. Lohman. Bit of Hollywood with the handball. And Ash does enough. Some opportunity in this second term at the other end of the ground. A ruck wrestle. Oh, McInerney wasn't far away from getting ball to boot.
Tell you what, Bedford, Lockie Neal's been a great win for the Giants. When they were rampaging, Lockie didn't have to really get involved, but Bedford's doing a terrific job.
Keith to Rayner, took one across the head. Peatling again.
This will be his 4th clearance for the quarter.
It's been terrific.
Through multiple hands to get out the other side to relative safety. Perryman comes away. Not a great kick, really, but well done from Taylor, although in trying to tap the ball to his teammate, he's grabbing on to Berry. Hands up deep from Logan Morris. And Lohman's in the pocket and can fly. Bailey's also there in the neighbourhood. The fist came from Iden. 2 fierce for O'Halloran, a fumble from McClung. It's not quite as clean and decisive as they were in the first term, the Lions. Here's Danaher, got himself into all sorts there. Perryman, and the numbers might just win out again for the Giants. Toby Green steps carefully, kicks short to a one-on-one. Krzyzewski couldn't quite. Now it's Lester to Dunkley as they build by hands initially. And then one more from McCluggage, and another from Berry, and back to McCluggage. The setup complete, but the kick is no good.
The hunt's much better from the Giants. Their energy around the contest has been great, but their pressure on the Brisbane Lions has been a hell of a lot better than we saw in the first quarter.
That cordial at quarter time, Brownie, was something special. What a mix.
Pickle juice today.
Watched Evan Kingsley at quarter time, and they all split into their line groups, and he walked in the middle and just said, "Get out." Don't worry about your line groups. Let's worry about this contested footy number. And right now in the second quarter, this is the response you want. They are 17-10, so +7 in favour of the Giants, having given up 25 in the first quarter.
I wonder what's going through the mind of Chris Fagan, who we just saw then with the dominance they had in that opening term. And they didn't really capitalise.
2-2-4, the Giants' pressure. The Chris Fagan, what's going through his mind now? Just need for his team to reset. He'd love a timeout now, Hutto.
He would. 8th season as coach, finals the last 5. They'll get there again this year, barring an absolute disaster. They win today, they'll definitely be there. They want top 4, top 2, maybe even top spot for the first time as the Brisbane Lions. Good creative hands. Fletcher with the finishing touches into the 50. Didn't come to be with Morris, Himmelberg, and now Ward. Left half back to himself. So takes it, quickly whips through the pros and cons of going long and short. That's a big pro.
Yeah, well worked. Great option there.
To Jones.
He's got to bide a bit of time, wait for some targets down the line. Just missing going inside 50, the Lions. They weren't missing early in this game, but now they are. They're just a bit off.
Good hard running from Ward to give him a viable option. He goes longer to Grishevsky. Couldn't quite finish it. The handball from Brain to the inside to Berry. And they're off and running again. Bailey misplaces his kick, and
that's an example.
Yeah, it was so pure in the first quarter.
Yeah, so a couple of times I've turned it over and kicked to Jack Buckley last time, and they missed again the last inside 50, and now that one coming out. So this is what happens, as Brownie called it, the hunt and the pressure, and it's perceived, and the game becomes a bit harder for Brisbane.
This area of the game's been strong for the Giants. 9-1 this quarter from clearance.
Can they win another? Well, they got in each other's way, but Callaghan settles at Peatling again. The underground was perfect for Perryman. The kick not so. Suddenly through the cracks, work to do for Zorko. He knew where Brain was, and Brain knew where the footy was. Daniels might not be big, but he finds a way to interrupt, and he got it back from Thomas. Sends it roughly towards Jesse Hogan. Up against the corner, up against Andrews. Floating handball for Kelly, tracked by Fletcher. A slight fumble from Joyce. Invited them in. It's a rush kick, Andrews. Maybe not the smartest kick. And Finn Callaghan has a big kick coming up.
Yeah, fumbles. You called that a few times, Hutto, in the last 5 to 10 minutes. Fumbles by Brisbane, and that's the pressure they're feeling, whether it be actual or referred. Definitely got the hunt right, Gaz, as we said this quarter.
So many mini tests within this game. Finn Callaghan, we know he's such a talented youngster. 1 goal, 6 he's kicked for the season. You can't ignore those numbers. He's got a set shot to make it 4 goals in a row. And the young man has gone back and put it right through the middle.
Fantastic response. This is the sort of season we're having. That was as dominant a first quarter and as poor a first quarter as you could see. It's flicked on the back of an 8-minute break at quarter time because the two teams have swapped jumpers essentially. They're winning contests, they're winning clearance. All of a sudden it's Brisbane who are fumbling and missing targets, and Harris Andrews kicking that sort of ball from deep in defence gives you an indication of exactly where they're at. So love this response. There's a bloke called Brent Daniels out there who he's a smart footballer. He smothered that ball, kicked a little banana off into the path of Jesse Hogan under pressure, Brownie. They're looking great.
This is where the game is. Second quarter, GWS have been able to get back on top in clearance. So 3 goals from clearance this quarter. The Lions mids need to lift.
You can't call Brett Daniels underrated anymore. I think everyone recognises how influential he is. So the understudy Ruckman are having their turn at the moment, but it's still being dominated in the middle by the Giants. Finn Callaghan, fresh from kicking the last. They've kicked 4 in a row to be within 6 points. This is Perryman weighing up the options. Short to Tom Green.
And this is the Giants at their very best, Hunter. This is the Giants of the closing games of last year.
We just couldn't see any of it in the opening term. He's floated it up high. At the back was Hogan. It went to the front to Lester. Hardcore in there. Good luck.
They were as far from it as you probably have they been all year in that first quarter, and yet they've recaptured it now.
Joe getting cold at the top of the screen. The footy's at the other end. Smith the tap. Hogan found his way through to Kelly.
Well, Hogan coming through that forward 50 stoppage. So we spoke about the Lions' dominance at forward 50 stoppage in the first quarter. They've got as many options as the Giants when they get in their forward 50 for a stoppage. So the Lions are hard pressed at the moment to keep up with all these little nipsies.
Plus 10 for clearances this quarter. It's extraordinary.
Great attention to detail there from Iden. We didn't see that in the opening term. Putting doubt in their mind, and the fumbles starting to multiply and compound with each disposal, and Andrews has nothing.
Amazing what pressure does. The Lions are all of a sudden shaky. They look so clean and precise in the first quarter and so connected.
He'd be a coach, seriously.
Fagan's sitting there going, what the hell's going on here?
He's not the only one.
He should have been 8 goals ahead at quarter time.
If you remember back to round 7 as well, Brisbane went in at half-time with 6 goals, 8. They'd let the Giants off the hook in that first half and then got run over late.
Smith gets the Lions to half-forward, and maybe beyond Rayner. Suddenly he's got to beat 2. And even for his strength, it's going to be tough. That's fierce, and it's high.
Well, it's a bit more like it from, he was a bit agricultural in the end, but the intensity from Sam Taylor, which hasn't quite been there. I know we mark him hard as, arguably the best defender of the past 2 or 3 years, and he's had a pretty horrific injury run over the past month or so, but that there is more like the Giants of the finals campaign last year, ferocity around the ball.
I'm with you, Gaz. You don't want to be giving away free kicks in the forward 50, but there is spirit, and that's indicative of how they've played in this second quarter.
Yeah.
So Kyle Lohmann, 2 behinds last week, another behind in the first quarter. Tough kick from 50. It's beyond him, as you can see, but there's still a marking contest, which is seen off by the Giants' defence, who looks so much different as a combination in this quarter when they have had to go to work.
Absolutely. So the Lions need to spend some time in their front half. We know they're a front half team. Set up defensively. Just get the game back on their terms.
Ash, after due consideration, kicks towards Hogan. A little bit of contact, and Jesse just thought he might just get a little shove on the way through. Why not?
That's a good involvement this quarter as well. Just see him travelling up the field there, Jesse, trying to stay involved in the game.
Yeah, you called for that, Brownie, and he's taken that on.
Fair to say he wasn't convinced where to kick to next by the look on his face. They get to the wing, Berry, and this man, Peatling. Berry skipping at half forward is Cameron. Crowd excitement lifts. Tough for Morris. It was 2-on-1, which let Archie loose at ground level, but his handball is blind. That's the pressure again, telling. Callaghan churning out the handball to Whitfield. He can run, starting to blossom through the middle of the ground. An awkward ball to be won, but Cadman was able to do the winning. Again, they're able to feed it back through Bedford. Just a chipping ball, and Lester was onto it before the Giants.
Yeah, he's a bit unlucky, Toby Green, there. So Lester was caught a bit in between, but the kick favoured him, obviously.
Jones almost giving away 50. That was a miniature kick, and again, not the wisest decision from Ashcroft. Made life even more difficult for himself. But he didn't panic.
It's a good look up the ground, though. Just seeing how hard the Giants are working off the footy, close down any exits.
And why he made the choice he did, I guess.
Yeah, just put some doubt in their mind, second-guess themselves. They're just paddling a bit here.
Ashcroft's first disposals for the quarter. Bailey lets rip. Danaher doesn't get access. He might now. Lohmann ignores Joe and goes into the goal square to the waiting arms of Calachi, who gets the adoration of the Gabba crowd.
Yeah, good effort there from Smith in the contest there, along with Joe Danaher. Taylor made the play on it, but it just hit the ground. Now, Lohmann's been in outstanding form, as Archie. I think Archie's been playing an important role for Brisbane. Just look at this, Lohmann. He's dynamic around these situations, dropping the ball. This is the first time the Lions have actually moved the ball with any great flow. They've been under the pump and see the inside 50s, 10-6 in favour of the Giants this quarter.
Much needed. I just sung the praises of Sam Taylor, but if you come off like this, you've got to make sure that footy doesn't get over the back, because then all of a sudden you've left Joe Danaher out the back. Loman runs onto the footy. Archie, Ash is caught in between. So just so really badly needed their first goal, obviously, for this second quarter. And the game's back on an even keel.
It is, and we're back in the middle. Toby Green, part of the setup there. Backup was terrific from Bedford, and it enables and facilitates Kelly to kick them forward. Beyond the 50, Daniels punched away fiercely by Zorko. Here comes Tom Green. Didn't get out the other side. Starcevic had to find a friend. He found it in Dunkley. High ball. They had to play a long waiting game. The fist from Himmelberg was okay. Jones prepared to go back to Ash. Now he can ease it forward. They stay on the flanks. There's a whistle and it's in the back. And it's Brent Daniels' ball.
So Dane Zorko's had 11 touches and 4 score involvements, which is a pretty good effort for a bloke playing off half-back, but this guy's now starting to impact.
What they're doing, Gaz, is him and Toby Green are swapping, which we saw last week against Hawthorn late in the game. It's causing some problems for the Lions defenders.
Oh, that's made a good start. He has summed that up beautifully. The skills of all sorts from Brent Daniels on display.
Yeah, so just talk us through that, Brownie, because between the two of them, they're starting to get really involved, and they were fantastic in that charge home last week.
Yeah, they are. So Toby Green pushes up into the midfield. Zorko then doesn't know who to match up on. Then so he goes with Toby Green. Starcevic drops back onto Brent Daniels, and it's just causing a few problems. They're trying to play some tricks for the Lions, just struggling to adjust at the moment, the Lions. So that's something you're going to have to address at half-time.
Just feels he's as pivotal as anyone to this team's success.
Well, that's right, and you called their game last week, Hutto, so you got the great appreciation. We all have. I mean, you're right, he's not underrated. You saw Toby Green in the goal square when he took that shot. He had Ashcroft in the goal square, so that's what you're talking about. So that's the thing they're trying to wrestle with at the moment, the Lions.
Brisbane 3 goals, 4 from set shots. The Giants are 4 goals straight. What a difference it always makes. The Lions eventually kneel. A rare disposal. Archie, that has this habit of popping up in the right place.
Charlie, move away.
Yeah, plays an important role because, as you see, his direct opponent there is Lockie Whitfield. So they tend to use Cal Archie as that defensive type forward, if you want to call him that, but he's also a very good aerialist as well. So that's where he can challenge Lockie Whitfield if he positions himself right at the centre bounce, which the Lions haven't had many of this quarter.
Well, they're all single goal kickers so far for the Brisbane Lions, but Cal Archie for an immediate response. And he's done that with conviction. His second goal, just reassuring the Lions fans, and their lead is back to 12.
And the other man that we've spoken a lot about the last few weeks is Cam Rayner. So Cam Rayner into the centre bounce here. So Lockie Neal gets first touch. Rayner, the big ball, just works his way through the centre bounce here, and then Lockie Neal again with that second possession.
It was an absolute shank of a kick for Lockie Neal in the end, which I think is always dangerous when it goes forward. So this is going nowhere near where most people think it's going to go. When he swings around like this, that's not going there. That's normally would be going to Joe Danaher. But you're right, Archie's awareness. That's what happens when you're the forward. You get to react quickest. So it's a dangerous kick, the shank going inside 50.
A great illustration of what you're talking about there, Brownie, wasn't it? Whitfield trying to get up into the play and get involved in the offense, but the footy went the other way and they paid a heavy price.
Yeah.
Rayner gets it under control.
Touch down. Me.
Ashcroft, creative little kick forward to Fletcher, his great mate.
In zone.
Something off the kick. Still asking questions of this Giants defence, and there's Whitfield. Keeps it in. Where to next for Taylor? Callahan uses the left. Strokes it back. Thomas versus Brain. Brain, not quite convincingly. Zorko already working out how he was going to spend it, and he's invited Peatling in there. Starcevic, brilliant take from Hogan. Gets up, it's what to do with it next. Running out of options, he found one in Tom Green. Jones against 3 Lions. Got there, and that is probably not the worst.
For a great decision maker that Tom Green is, how he couldn't have seen the 2 or 3 Giants players he had running in support. All he'd had to do was hand it off. Instead, he kicks to a 2-on-1.
What about the kick from Dane Zorko as well?
Oh, he has bitten a bit off today.
Yeah.
You know, and I know he's there to be creative, but he might have to be a bit more circumspect.
Keith finds a way to win the tap. Awkward for Hogan. Good protection from Zorko. Allows Fletcher to send Ashcroft on his way. Lions by 12, but this is delicately poised. Much better second quarter from the Giants, and they're off again. So they're forced to turnover. And it's downfield. It's not. It's a 50. It could have been 50.
They had the ball downfield anyway.
Yeah, so if he was held up and stopped from getting to the next contest, then it should have been 50. If it wasn't, then which clearly wasn't in the umpire's view, then it's not. So Tom Green with the setup. Jesse wants it as deep as possible. He's got to make up some ground here, and instead it's Berry, and you can see Jesse Hogan's reaction to that.
He's been very active though, Hutto, this quarter. So Jesse Hogan really wanting to get involved in every play. We've even seen some of the forward 50 stoppages be the target. So great energy from Jesse.
Yeah, he's really invested, isn't he, in this Giants cause.
It's a great mark by Berry in the end too, though, isn't it? Coming in as a winger and protecting and clean as a whistle.
So they were rampaging early in the quarter, the Giants, and you do have to pay credit to Brisbane to some degree. They've been able to make it more of a contest. They've been able to hit the scoreboard a couple of times. The Giants weren't able to do that in the opening term when the boot was on the other foot. Ashcroft perplexed.
Let's line the players up down the line here. McInerney, Danaher, Rayner.
It's all one-on-one, individual battles within the collection. Joe couldn't keep his feet. They all went tumbling through. Be careful not to give away free kicks. Taylor with an aggressive mindset. Determined look on his face. Goes forward to get the forward handball. Wasn't quite sure what to do next. On the scene, Bedford. He's got pace. Maybe not as much as Charlie Cameron. His tackler and umpire and cheerleader. He can do it all, Charlie.
It's a great chase. Yeah, we know that Charlie can run quick the other way, but it's nice to see him go back and chase down someone like Toby Bedford. It's a great result.
He really relished it, didn't he, too? Now Lockie Neal with a set-up kick. Beautifully crafted for Dunkley, who just couldn't play his part in all of that.
What a kick from Lockie Neal. I think Josh Dunkley couldn't believe his luck. Just ran under it.
It's a bit like the design we saw from Nick Dacos last week at the MCG. Jammed on the boot from McInerney, and then it's out on the foot.
It's Charlie Cameron just trying to work his way back into form. I love what he's using as the baseline, though. It's defensive pressure. It's the effort to buy into the team stuff that's required, and eventually he's going to get cash in offensively. Remember, probably hear John Denver ring around several times. Hopefully for Chris Fagan's sake and the Lions fans, that'll be in September. But he's doing all the hard yards at the moment, Charlie Cameron. As much as his stat sheet doesn't look great, it's important.
Credit to the Lions, as you said earlier. They were dominating, contested fully early in this second quarter. They've hit back. They, in fact, lead it now. This bloke's been enormous.
Yeah, big quarter. He's up to 7th disposal now. He kicked a goal as well.
He's a long way from where you'd normally see the Coleman medal leader. It's an up and under kick, and he's crafted it pretty well for Callaghan. Courage was required, and courage is what we all saw. So Finn Callaghan continues to progress in his footy journey.
So Cadman's got to match up with Ashcroft. He's got to start demanding that.
And that allows him to come in from the side. That's what he can do. He's more a floating forward at the moment, isn't he?
Well, it's good to see Hutto because he's tracking back, and I know Harris is there, but he was tracking back with Ashcroft. So I'm thinking, gee, you got to look this and seize upon it. And Ashcroft didn't go with him because in the end it's not his role. And this is a really good sign that he's able to go back with a flight like that and then come across the front of the pack. He's got to finish off now. Some good signs back after this season for this young man.
Yeah, last week, equal career high 12 disposals and an excellent goal. He thought he had a magnificent goal early in the game, only overturned on review. And unfortunately, he doesn't have the kicking boots on there, Aaron Cadman. 20 goals, 11 for the season now with 4 misses. But the game is almost back on an even keel. And I think the Giants, as much as they would have loved that goal, they'd be pretty satisfied with this second quarter if the scoreboard doesn't change.
Move it on. Play on!
Andrews places it. Taylor had a run of the footy. Morris disturbed. Perryman. They might get a last look here. Instead, it's Andrews.
17 inside 50s now to the Giants this quarter, only 10 to the Lions after 19-4 in favour of the Lions in the first quarter. It's been a big turnaround.
Crowd trying to urge them on here in this last 30 seconds. Ash did wonderfully well. Jeez. Out of position. He made the spoil. He got the ball somewhat unconvincingly to wide, and they're going to attack right till half-time. Whitfield out to O'Halloran, stationed out there forward of the wing. And now to Toby Green. He's got Brent Daniels. A substantial target, but a dangerous one. Instead, it's Stacey Jones. And what might have been Brain keeps his composure, and that will be it.
Jones did exactly what Dunkley did at the other end, so some missed opportunities late in this second quarter, but you're right, Hutto, the Giants will take it. They got spanked in the first quarter, but they responded really well, dominated the first half of the second quarter, and then Brisbane gathered themselves, so some good signs from both teams. It's the contest that we expected coming in that we thought we may not get at quarter time.
Yeah, what a turnaround. 5 goals 2 to 2 goals 1. It is time to take a deep breath. Take your helmet off if you're wearing one. And then just regather.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to like about both teams, to be perfectly honest, and I didn't think we'd be saying that at quarter time. The Giants have just dug deep and responded to what I think was a withering blast from Adam Kingsley that would have to have been at quarter time given where they're at. And Brisbane got themselves sorted really well.
All right, let's get down to Alistair Lynch, get ground level.
Thanks, Hutto, with Tom Green. Tom, that was a much-needed turnaround. You needed that second quarter.
Yeah, we did. Our first quarter was atrocious. They smacked us all over the ground, so it was nice to be able to claw it back at least a little bit.
What was the message from Adam Kingsley at quarter time? Looked like it was pretty heated at times.
Yeah, we can have all the game plans in the world, but if we're not winning the football and not, winning that hard football, then the game plan means nothing. So we just needed to toughen up a little bit, and like I said, clawed at least a little bit back in that quarter, but we've still got work to do.
What was your major focus? The clearances, you were -9, you've been able to square that up for that. What was the change there?
Yeah, exactly that. Just hunting. They out-hunted us in the first quarter, I think, all over the ground, including stoppages, so we needed to tidy that up.
All right, thanks for your time, mate.
Thanks, Lynchy. Thanks.
Well, we're set for a big half of footy from the Gabba. What a climax we're having to the end of the season. Another huge game in this round of footy coming up after us. It's Fremantle and Geelong from Optus Stadium.
No matter where.
All right, folks, I'll take us back when the commentators come back and give their thoughts if they do that. But it's halftime here at the Gabba in Brisbane. Of course, the Brisbane Lions leading the Giants 6-8-44 to the Giants 5-3-33. A much better quarter, one well needed by the Giants. They were in full control of that 3/4 of the way through that second quarter. And of course, the Lions, they just stemmed the tide a little bit, although they still looked a little bit shaky, the Lions. They did a good job and still remain 11 points up, even after being 30 points up after quarter time. It was expected the Giants were going to come back up. They lifted their pressure to extraordinary heights, up to 227 on the pressure gauge. The Lions just couldn't handle that. It was a little bit of a mirror image of the first quarter where the Lions had full control. The Giants certainly had that full control in the second quarter. Found their run, found their link-ups, and was definitely a lot better. I think coming up in the second half, I think we'll definitely have a more settled type of game. Both teams have had their spurt, their run, worked each other out a little bit more. So this game is still to be decided with a half of football remaining. We're in for a cracking second half here at the Gabba. The Lions in that quarter, they put on 2 goals 1, and the Giants put on 5 goals 2. So although the Giants had all the play, they had the momentum, they dominated for most of the quarter, it was good for the Lions to actually put on a couple of goals in that quarter to maintain their lead going into half time. So I think the coach will be reasonably happy. I think both coaches will be reasonably happy where they stand at the moment after half time. Let's go and have a look at now the player stats. Let's go and see who's the leading ball getters on the ground for this afternoon. Of course, we have got Will Ashcroft and Jared Berry, 17 for Will Ashcroft. He's had 14 kicks, 3 handballs, 4 marks, 1 tackle, 5 clearances. He's having a good game there for the Lions. Of course, Jared Berry next best with 15. 9 kicks, 6 handballs, 5 marks, 2 tackles and a clearance. Lachie Whitfield and Connor Idon and Tom Green are the next best for the Giants, all with 13 apiece. Then Dane Zorko with 12, just a little bit of a quiet second quarter from Zorko. I think he only had the 2 touches in that second quarter. Dunkley on 12. Charlie Cameron up to 11 possessions there. All kicks, no handballs. He's trying to make a little bit of play. He's kicked the 1 goal for them. Cam Rayner has actually had a little bit of a quiet game for the Lions so far. So he's still got his chance to lift in the second half here, folks, which is good news. Good news for the Lions. He hasn't produced his dominance like he has in the weeks gone by at the moment. So we're looking for a big second half out of Cam Rayner, just with the 9 touches, just with the 3 kicks, 6 handballs. He's had a tackle and he's had, well, it says a 1 mark and 1 tackle. There we go. He's had a clearance also. Lachie Neale with 9. Another one is a little bit quiet. I'll tell you what, Lachie Neale and Cam Rayner, they start to get their mojo flowing with McGluggage also, and Brisbane are in for a big second half. Let's keep going down there. Jesse Hogan got into the game a little bit more in that second quarter there for the Giants. Much better with 9 disposals. He's had now 5 handballs, 4 kicks, 2 marks. He's had a tackle. And, of course, he slotted a goal in that second quarter. Kalamanchi, 9 disposals. He's now kicked 2 goals, 1. So he's doing reasonably well there for the Lions. We just roll down a little bit. And there are your stats. I'll be back in a moment, folks. I'll take you back down to the commentators who's giving some of their thoughts.
But especially in the first quarter, we love the way Ashcroft went about it. His 7th game back from that ACL, had 11 disposals in the first quarter, and he just, with his disposals, he puts players into better spots.
He does. Best first hands player in the competition last year. It's an amazing effort considering how young he is. 9 of those touches in the front half and 4 inside 50s and 4 clearances as well. So you're spot on. I think he's been building over the last few weeks, but now fully growing into that confidence in his knee after that ACL last year.
And that's right. I mean, he goes through he helps with the rotations through the middle of the ground. So plus 9 for clearances, the Brisbane Lions. Now the Giants had to turn that around, but they really struggled. And I think it was because of the big numbers. And with Will Ashcroft, I think he was quietened a little bit. He had 17 at half time. But that first quarter, just his ability to run, and they're not reliant on him. They're not reliant on Lachie Neale. But he manages to find space, and his work rate's first class.
Oh, spot on. No doubt about it. It was quite amazing. The turnaround wasn't in the second quarter, though. For their ability, they got smashed out of the centre bounce, the Giants, but they responded. I thought Lachie Keefe was very good against Oscar McInerney.
Well, he had to be more competitive, didn't he? And we heard from Tom Green just then that Adam Kingsley put it on him at quarter time with the clearances. Yeah. They just had to have a bit more of a crack around the congestion.
Good old-fashioned spray, wasn't
Absolutely. I'll tell you what he did. He walked down, as Gaz said, they have an 8-minute break, and he went straight to him, pulled them all in, and tore the paint off the wall. Was about 150 metres away, which was interesting to see. Now, we saw last week, Brent Daniels was one of the key players that lit up the Giants in their last quarter resurgence. He's been good again in that quarter.
Yeah, he has. It's been fantastic. Dane Zorko trying to get to him. He's had his moments as well, but started to cause a few. They scored goals from 50 stoppages, the Giants, in that quarter. Obviously, they only kicked it behind the first quarter, so they didn't trouble to score, but causing some problems too with him and Toby Green are changing up in play.
Yep.
So Green goes up into the midfield. Daniel spits forwards. It's causing some problems with Zorko and Starswich with that particular matchup and just creating some confusion out there.
And that was exactly the issue again. Last quarter in Canberra against Hawthorn, that's where they really got the ascendancy. The other place where they've had the ascendancy, and it's a great string to their bow, Toby Bedford on Lachie Neale. You know Lachie Neale, if he gets time and space, he just racks up mid-30s week in, week out.
Yeah, he does, no question about it. Bedford's been fantastic in the last few weeks leading in. Our old coach Lee Matthews would still say to Lachie Neale, you're winning that matchup at half-time, wouldn't he, to try and instill some confidence in. But the one thing about Neale, he just keeps plugging away. So you know Toby Bedford, he has to go the whole 4 quarters, otherwise Neale will be able to influence at some stage. With that, I'd call that even at the moment.
Yeah, and no doubt about it. That's one of the great assets. The fact that he does hang in there. They've got Rayner, they've got the likes of Ashcroft. They're doing a lot right in the first quarter, but the GWS Giants threw everything back at the Lions in that second quarter and trail at half-time by 11 points.
All right. right, just a couple of thoughts there from the commentators there. All right, let's get back and have a little bit of a look at the goal scorers now. Let me take that back up. There we go. There's the goal scorers. So the leading goal scorer on the ground today is Callum Mi for the Brisbane Lions, the only multiple goal scorer with 2 goals. Of course, Callum Ward, Logan Morris, Oscar McInerney, Jesse Hogan, Toby Green, Joe Danaher, Brett Daniels, Charlie Cameron and Finn Callahan are the other single goal scorers for the respective teams. If you play the AFL fantasy points, let's just have a little quick look at that, see who's leading the board there. That's Will Ashcroft on 68 points, Jared Berry on 60, Charlie Cameron's 59 points there in the fantasy points, Josh Dunkley 56, Callum Mi 53, Tom Green 53, and the rest 53 and under. All right, let's go and have a little bit of a look now, folks, at the team stats. We'll see where they fare. Disposals, the Lions still by 35. Kicks, still by around 39, the Lions. The handballs, Giants just in front there. Inside 50s. So the Giants have got that back on track where they were only 4, from memory, they're only 4 inside 50s at quarter time. They got 18 inside 50s. So that was a good job there. That was just dominance. And of course, the Lions got around about 10 or so in that second quarter. So that's evened itself up a little bit more. The disposal efficiency, the Giants really stepped their game up there. They hit up to 80.4% there, which is absolutely fantastic for them. Season's average is 73, so they're on target there. Inside efficiency, the 50, they still need to lift there a little bit there. The Giants, they're well and truly under the Lions. The Lions going in at 60%, where the Giants are at 36.4. They're well and truly, again, under their season's average, so they need to lift that. The free kicks, 11-8, sort of evened itself out a little bit there. Of course, with the Giants, no free kicks to, I think it was about 6 or 9 for the Lions at quarter time. It certainly evened itself out. The stoppages, the hit-outs, the Lions dominating there, of course, 28-12. The clearances, much better, 18-17. Centre clearances, 5 apiece. Stoppage clearances, 13-12, so they picked that up in the second quarter, did the Giants. The contested possessions, the Lions a little bit harder to ball there, winning the contested possessions 72-48. Uncontested, not a great deal of difference there, just 15 ahead to the Lions. The turnovers 25-32. The Lions doing good there, not turning the ball over too much. As you can see, the possession time for the match, 53% Lions, 31% to the Giants. And of course, with that last 10 minutes in that second quarter, the Lions regained the ball 40% of the time to 22% for the Giants. So have a look at the marks there. The Lions, well, they're well and truly in control in the air, 62-29. The Giants need to grab that ball a little bit more. Marks inside 50, 8-3. Doing the job there really well, the Lions. Contested mark 9-3 also. They just need to find themselves a bit better in the air, the Giants. So we go down to the tackles now. The defensive tackles, 19-31. Giants by 12 there, and the tackles inside 50. Both teams picked it up to 4 apiece there. The 1%ers, both doing about the same, 18-16. Let's go and have a look at the ladder. I'll just roll this back up. Let's go and have a look at the ladder now, folks. And this is the live ladder. So this is what it means. This is what it means. With the Lions actually leading at the moment, they will go a game and a half clear, and the Giants will stay in fourth due to percentage. But this is the live ladder. So if we turn the live ladder off, positions don't change, but of course their points, their win points do change for the Lions. As you can see, 54, they'll go to 58. Whereas with if the Giants win this game, they'll then go to 56 and they'll leapfrog the Brisbane Lions. So the Giants need to win, as do the Lions. This is a big game to where they will end up at the end of the home and away season. Kevin, how you going? I'm able to watch this match on TV. My parents have the network. FS2. This is very exciting for me. Oh, fantastic. Good stuff, Kevin. Glad you could watch it. Yeah, it's a pretty good game today. Both teams having their run. Both teams, it's hard. When a team gets a run on, like the Lions did in the first quarter or the Giants did in the second quarter, it's actually hard to stem that tide. It's hard to stop the flow of the game when it's been in control from that one team. But there we go. That's good stuff. Glad you can watch it. And if you want to watch a day at the footy with me, I did a vlog on the footy when I went there. That's up at the pin. I pinned that video there. That's the day I went to the football to see Collingwood and the Gold Coast Suns at the MCG. So that's what you can see. What we do when we go to the footy. But fantastic that your parents have got it and you can watch the game. So you can watch all the games then, if that's the case. So good stuff. FS2, what's that? Is that like Foxtel or... I'm not sure what FS2 is. But very good, very good. Yeah, there's a few platforms you can watch it. Fox, KO, all different cable TV. There's sometimes these games are on free-to-air TV, but definitely not all. I think we get about maybe 3, 4 maximum games out of the 9 on free-to-air TV here. Maybe 3 games a weekend, that's about it. And a lot of the times if you support one of the teams, you like to watch your team or, listen to it. So, not often do you get to see your own team play. So it's good when you can actually watch it. Fantastic. That's great news that you've got that and you can watch it and see how the game goes, etc. like that. But we are only 3 minutes away, folks, from the bounce of the second half. And this is anybody's game. Who's going to take charge in the third quarter? Will the Giants come out like they started in the second quarter? Or will the Lions come out like they did in the first quarter and dominate? Or will it be goal for goal? It's going to be an exciting second half coming up in a little under 3 minutes time here from the Gabba, where the Lions lead 11 points to the Giants. 6-8-44 leading the Giants 5-3-33. And just a quick update in the other game that's being played at the moment. It's half-time at Bloodstone Arena in Hobart and North Melbourne, where they are playing the West Coast Eagles. It's North Melbourne leading 7 goals, 6-48 to the Eagles, 3-8-26. Looks like the Eagles took the lead. They're about 11 points up in the first quarter, but then North Melbourne have taken control in that second quarter, put on a couple of late goals and now lead by 22 points. And that is at half-time over there between North Melbourne and the West Coast Eagles there in the other game today. Let me have a little bit of a look. So they're not back there. All right, folks, we'll be back in just 1 minute when the commentators come back.
Oh, well, it's a game that went with the clearances. We dominated contested possession, clearance in the first quarter. They dominated us in the second and won territory and scored. So we were really disappointed with our efforts around the ball, and we need to get a lift there.
Do you see the clearances as effort-based, or was there a structural change?
Oh, we changed our structure up a little. They changed. We have to change again. Sometimes just rolling your sleeves up, Lindsay. I just thought we weren't as hard in that second quarter.
Any half-time changes for the second half?
Not really. We just got to get better in the contest. It's as simple as that.
Thanks, mate.
No worries, mate.
30 points at quarter time. After a 5-goal to 2 second, we're back to 11 as the all-important third quarter gets underway. And it starts with a Keith tap forward. Bailey onto it, as you saw, and then the hand pass sprightly enough to Dunkley. On a direct path to goal. Danaher involved in the wrestle. Smith athletic. Whitfield covered.
Easy to follow. Chris Fagan's given us the direction and a bit of an insight into the direction he gave the boys. Got to get better in the contest. I reckon Adam Kingsley said the same to his charge at quarter time, Gas.
Yeah, and clearance too. So Bailey off the wing gets the first clearance is massive.
Cameron was waiting. It almost came his way. Rayner, it took two to stop him. Well, they slowed him at the very least. Nifty hands from Green. Enables Whitfield to emerge. With clean hands and a beautiful kick to Ward. And then the next through Himmelberg. Punches to half forward. First reaction was Starcevic's. Doesn't mean Toby Green's out of the picture. Lester came, so harder for Toby to get away.
He's done a great job, Starcevic, early on Toby Green. He's had minimal impact. Just the 3 possessions for the game. He's kicked the goal, but not much else.
You know it's not over though, don't you, with Toby Green? Keith finding his way in the ruck. Went to Neil and then Zorko. And here's Starcevic. Almost coughed it up. Dunkley tidied it up. McCluggage found a way to the inside, which means they can take a more aggressive path to goal. Lohman to Archie, just taking what's on offer, Brisbane.
Dano has whole 50 to himself, Hutto.
Let's see if they can get there. He's on a long lead, Joe. The kick is headed his way. Worked underneath the ball by Taylor. Just finding his range. That could be a really important matchup in the second half.
So Brownie, Archie had the ball in the middle of the ground and didn't even look long. He just automatically went wider again. Your call's spot on. You look up the ground, you got one-on-one Danaher. Archie had the centre corridor to go and attack. Instead, we've got a ball in out here on the wing.
Keith again got his hands to the footy. Peatling draws a free.
Yeah, I feel like the Lions are at their best, Gaz, when they do decide to go straight when they get into the centre corridor, especially here at the Gabba. Shortest way home.
15th game for the season, James Peatling at last has become a regular. That kick, though, was waited only for Lockie Neal. And here's Dara on the move. Up on the wing, the Irishman. And Joyce's kick goes out of bounds. Slaps his own hand there in disappointment at the kick.
So Whitfield's a bit of a watch. So he's up around 14 possessions now, starting to impact. Zorko similarly at 13, so they'll continue. Archie's had that match, or that match up all day.
Little look between Cameron and Berry. If Berry wins the ball, can be sure that Charlie will be on the move on the outside of that stoppage.
And just to the right of screen as well, the game of Ring of Rosie continues. Harris Andrews trying to get to Jesse Hogan. Grozowski trying to get to Harris Andrews. And then Darragh Joyce just innocent bystander.
Kelly put length on the kick. And there they are. Rashevsky came but couldn't take it. It's Cameron working both ends of the ground today. It's been noticeable. Covered a lot of territory. They don't play your song at half-back, Charlie. Just keep that in mind. You don't get the song for a score assist, Brownie. Here's Tom Green, though, because they've come to ground. And Tom Green chucks the handball forward. Daniels, they're on the move again. Bedford sharply to the inside to Thomas. One more handball. Can they get into the clear? Tom Green up against the line. If anyone could put it to the right spot, it's Kelly. Toby went early. And the juggler from Bailey.
So Max Grozowski hasn't touched the footy yet, which, you know, he's a young key forward. He's taken a bit of time, but he has to find a way to impact. If they are trying to do these matchups and trying to free one up with Leicester and Harris Andrews, Grozowski's got to be able to draw the footy at some stage.
Connor Stone is the sub. Came in for McMullen, who was managed. So he could be an option. Grozowski getting subbed late last week.
Well, the point is, though, if you're a non-control... Well, this has not been harsh on a young kid, but he hasn't touched the footy. They'll take more and more liberties, the defenders. So Darragh Joyce will start to play off him a bit more and gravitate to Jesse Hogan a bit more. So he's got to say, right, I've got to get dangerous. I've got to find a way to involve myself in the game.
Looks like at the moment his only role is to try and free up.
Spending too much trying to free Jesse up.
Good reflexes from McCluggage. He's just chipped the ball up though, hasn't he? And good reaction from Archie at the moment, who's asking questions of Whitfield. Might have been watching the Olympics there with a tumble turn. Archie, somehow he got springing back to his feet and got the ball off to Zorko, who's put it out in front of Rayner. Bit of holding against Perryman to Rayner.
I thought he's going to call 50 there. No, he was Cam Rayner's in the wrong. It's to straighten up.
Slightly pained look on Rayner's face. There's Danaher with Buckley, so they've swapped opponents for this little flurry forward. Himmelberg's in front of all of them. And it's a free, an advantage. And Lockie Neal will just wander downhill and drive that advantage home. Much to the chagrin of Adam Kingsley, the first goal in the third quarter is with the dual Brownlow medalist.
Yeah, that's right. That's what he'll keep doing, Lockie Neal. Bedford's done a reasonably good job in the first half, kept him in 9 disposals, which is below average for Lockie Neal. Just see the free kick there now. Was it paid to Oscar McInerney?
Yeah,
was it paid to Joe?
Initial grab
stopped. Yeah.
It wasn't much of a grab.
No, it wasn't much. You'd see that many times, don't you, throughout a game in each contest.
Yeah, he just was. It was the initial grab, so he wrapped an arm up. They all stopped and looked at each other, and Lockie thought, well, I'll take the risk and keep going. There's no harm done there.
He had 4 disposals this quarter, Gaz.
Yeah, I know. What your boy said at half-time is spot on, and Toby Bedford would be aware of that. He will be pushing himself right to the end. You wouldn't be surprised if he finishes with 30+.
Margin back to 17 then. They've kicked the last 2 goals to steady. Keith making a good battle in the middle though. And again, Peatling finds a way to get through all of that, out of the mess. And the mayhem to centre half forward. Toby Green competes. Brain versus Jones. Jones got past one, but not Derry.
They can get through the Giants. There's an opportunity at the back because Darragh Joyce doesn't know where to stick with his man Grashowski or go with Jesse Hogan.
I like you going with a different version each time.
I'm just trying to get it right. I'm going to have a crack at all of them. Grashowski. There we go.
That's it.
Margin is 17. Still a jockey and jostle for position in the goal square. In the right of way at the footy. McInerney with the fist. Neal, the crafty hands to Fletcher, and that's where it ends for now.
I've seen 2 taggers used on Lockie Neal. I wonder whether that ever occurs to
Swans did it.
Yeah, they had
a few weeks ago.
Luke Parker and one other just coming on and off him, and it was pretty effective.
McInerney from behind this time, but Keith down to Tom Green and off to Callaghan. We know he's a long kick. He doesn't get perfect purchase, but it gives them a fighting chance. Leicester the spoil. 3 Lions versus Brent Daniels. Tom Green again, prolific as he is, back through Peatling, and then to Keith, a rare kick. Not a bad one, although outsized down there. Grashowski almost, but instead it's Harris Andrews. There's danger in the short kick. Mark not paid to Fletcher, and he's captured and gone.
Just kept at it.
He missed the first tackle. I was just about to say you got to stick the tackle, and Cal Ward's been doing this his whole career as he never gives up. Just came back and had another crack. So shakes his tackle, and then back in and has another go at it. And that's a fantastic. That sums up Callum Ward's 300+ games. Yeah, they need this. They do need this, I reckon. So they've given up the last couple of goals. It's just a little momentum swing that's gone back the way of Brisbane. This will be a handy one.
He's been tackling like that since 2008. 311th game. He's 10 goals straight this year. I guess the miss was inevitable, but just not ideal from a Giants point of view. Brisbane not wasting any time. Zorko spots Berry. More importantly, hits him. Good hard lead from the youngest line out there, the 19-year-old Logan Morris.
Taking 73 marks to 30, so 43 more marks. So they have to know that's the way they're going to play. They can't let them off the hook like this. This is a Giants. You know how Brisbane play.
It's more like the control the Lions need in the second quarter, though. When the Giants had speed on the game, just trying to keep control of the Lions. This is better.
Eventually Ashcroft to Dunkley, and look at the smile from Dunkley. Felt that was worthy of a free kick. Come on, umpire, you cuddled me. Now back involved in the setup. Fletcher waiting off the pack on the inside. Jones goes to him. There's Bailey just on the 50. Who will they release the handball to if they get the opportunity? Callaghan beats them to the punch though. And it's the Giants that look to chain it out of there. Loman's tackle not deemed high on Peatling. Everyone paused. Quick kick from Ashcroft. Was it touched? It doesn't matter. He's done the job, Taylor.
He's fought back after quarter time, Sam Taylor. I think he's just growing in confidence. As you mentioned in that second quarter, his attack on the ball, we hadn't seen it for the last few weeks, maybe since that heavy head knock earlier in the season.
Yeah, I wonder if quarter time, whoever the backline coach was, says, right, enough of playing safe, Sam. Get back to being what you were. That's what it looks like.
So far, so good for the Giants. Now they can spring into aggressive mode. Whitfield bouncing deep to Hogan. He's the #1 contested mark in the competition, and that was a no contest. Speed on the ball, and it gives him the best opportunity. He can kick a long goal, Hogan, but he doesn't look sure about this one.
That's the Giants at their best, that ball movement from back half. And sometimes it happens when it's the last sort of resort. That's what they've got to try and get moved, get going.
So Jesse Hogan, he decides to try and pass it off.
It was a set play between the two of them. It was the old push and turn and go from Toby.
Right on his distance, I think that goes. Never been the longest kick. I think 45 pulls him up as a very consistent, accurate kicker, but outside of that, it becomes a stretch.
All attention turns to Toby Green. They recognise the danger.
He's starting to stir him up, Toby.
Daniels is on the move. Here's Ward just forcing his way, as is his nature. Cadman engaged with Andrews. It just holds up on the line, and it's escorted out by the 200 gamer.
Yeah, need alarm bells here for the Brisbane Lions defenders. So Giants kicked 2 goals from 4 to 50 stoppages in the second quarter. Got multiple options here, including Jesse Hogan, who's getting active around these contests.
They'll do anything they can to free up a Toby Green or Brent Daniels. It's high though on a free kick to the defending team.
Oh, doesn't that just take the pressure off here? That's against Toby, I would imagine, his direct opponent.
Starcevic to Ashcroft and then places it wide for Zorko. Good progression. He waited for the last moment to kick so he could connect with the leading Smith.
He's taken some chances by foot. This one's come off beautifully under some pressure.
So Henry Smith, he was going to kick. Instead, the call came from Zorko, and they put that together well. And the frustration showing on the face of Lockie Whitfield because Zach Bailey has the mark, and now the long shot if he so chooses.
He could have nearly got it again then. So Lockie Whitfield's watching the mirror image of himself at the other end of the ground go 1-2. Getting involved again, Zorko. Daniels had enough pressure on him with the first kick, but he was just too good with a kick. But then he followed up and got another one.
Season high, 3 goals last week from 20 disposals. Zach Bailey, we all know his capabilities. To take it back beyond 20 points from long range. Not going to be a goal. It's another minor score to Brisbane, and this inaccuracy that really plagued them in the first half of the season when they weren't having the run that they wanted has returned. It was evident in the first quarter. And that's why the game remains gettable for the Giants. 18 points in it. Himmelberg. Doesn't seem the wisest of choices, did it really? It's hard to see the upside in the kick, really. It goes out of bounds.
It's closing him down again. A little bit like the first quarter. The Lions just didn't give him an out. You know the Giants want to go. You know where they want to overlap. Use their hands. Get the tsunami going in some way, shape or form. I've only seen it on a couple of occasions this afternoon.
Toby Green getting involved again here at the stoppage. Sneaks up to the back.
Only 1 goal in 13 tense minutes in the third term. Fletcher to Rayner. His hands were quick, maybe too quick. Darcy Jones really didn't help Kelly's cause. Rayner back to Jones on the tidy up. Tom Green back to Peatling. Had a big second quarter. The young man took his more experienced teammates with him, really.
Yeah, he was the spark, looking for a spark early in the second quarter. Had the first 3 centre bounce clearances.
Cadman to Kelly. Now he's ground to a halt. And the game just stalled for the moment. Collective breath, and then Kelly Kicks the Giants to half forward. Hogan went to ground and it's high and against Joyce.
I like that matchup for the Giants. If they can get he and Joyce one out, it's going to be a real challenge for the Lions. Just trying to isolate it is the issue.
Cadman gets there late, so it's up to Grishevsky to fight the fight. Well, Cadman did get both hands to it. Brain, Toby Green, sheer force of will and all the skill that came with it. They were ready for him. Brilliantly seen to by Brain and Starcevic collectively.
So he's trying everything to put himself into this contest, but the bottom line is he's had 3 possessions for the game, Toby Green. Starcevic has been outstanding.
He really is as good as there is in that role, isn't he? Brandon Starcevic.
And he's suited to the aerialists. Toby Green's very good in the air, even though he's not the tallest out there. So that's a good matchup. He's obviously got good body strength as well to go with Toby Green.
Dunkley came through, but it was Green that gets the kick inside. Now Zorko, very much aware that Daniels, that was so clever, lost his footing, never lost his composure. Back to the wing, it's Buckley. Outsmarted initially by Morris, and Buckley comes back at him. Well, you can see why he got the hair ruffle there. It's good stuff from both.
Good effort, yeah. Good arm wrestle here between the two sides. A lot of stoppages this quarter. A lot of good midfielders for both teams going head-to-head. Who can get the upper hand later in this quarter.
Tom Green, 12 disposals in this term. Zorko with 6 for Brisbane.
Yeah, Tom's got Dunkley for company as well, Hutto, so that's A-grade opposition.
Off to Wall, the desperation from Dunkley. Just held them up, stopped the progress, and probably helps Harris Andrews do just that. Pretty easy mark in the end. So can't quite find a path to goal at the moment, the Giants. Haven't kicked one since just after midway through the second term.
It's genuine one-on-one down the ground. Everywhere you look, it's just they've all just paired off at the minute.
Up and under from Fletcher, just takes the territory. First hands with the Giants and the second. Whitfield to Cadman, looking more and more at home at this level, making a contribution. It's back up for grabs. Brain. Quickly to Zorko, who is everywhere again, and they stretch the ground with the switch. Bailey's got Lester up his sleeve. Uses him, then looks further afield. Danaher is out of reach, so it's Lohman. He set him a bit of a challenge here. Taylor left Joe on his own. He's done well, he's made the right call. Ash scoots away.
Great by Taylor, great call, Hutto. He left his man, it was very dangerous to do it, but he was rewarded.
Fortune favoured Taylor on that occasion. Ash. Big tackle from Toby. Was it a dangerous one? Look at how vicious he is there, Toby. It is a free kick. Has to be careful here just to rein in his frustrations, Toby Green.
It's frustration, Hutto, but it's also a little bit measured, I think, too, to see if he can upset and get a free kick back the other way.
He's testing his coach.
Yeah, well, he's done everything he can. He's put himself into the midfield, tried to lose Starcevic through the middle of the ground. Just can't get his hands on the footy.
An update on Lockie Whitfield is heading down the race at the moment. Captivating contest, this one at the Gabba. The 3-goal scoreline belies how tight this is. Fits in with the season we're having. Not quite coming together for either team when they go forward at the moment. Henry Smith, Logan Morris knows no fear. Tapped away Himmelberg. It got a little awkward. It got a little big. Morris with the handball. Perryman now shuffles it out to Callan. This young kid Morris, what a find he is, Brownie.
He's a ripper, yeah. Since day one, really, the pre-season, I think he kicked 3 or 4 goals on Jack Payne and Harris Andrews in the intra-club. He thought, wow, who's this kid from the western suburbs of Melbourne? Had a Big Mac or a cheeseburger or whatever it was.
Wasn't it? As soon as he went through the driveway to McFlurry.
Played 2 games in a day on his debut.
Picked 31 in last year's draft. Fletcher, highly rated father-son, just musters a little kick, squeezing across to Ash and Archie. He couldn't escape it. He was able to get the handball. A jig to the left, a jig to the right. Oh, that's holding the ball, Charlie. Got to know the rules. cross. Brilliant stuff from Iden. Charlie gets frustrated. That was going to be the goal of the season, Gary.
That's a great chase from Connor Iden, Hutto. Just think about what he's chasing.
I know.
He's chasing Charlie Cameron, who's going goal side. That's about as hard a chase as you can have in footy, and he got him by a fingernail.
I was just thinking goal of the season, Gaz.
And I can hear it.
Country road.
It'll come. Stick with it, young fella.
Unfortunately, got out of the reach of Callahan. He didn't give up, though. Ash, what a collect from O'Halloran. Couldn't have kicked it higher. Hogan, slight misjudgment. Arms and legs was Andrews. Here they come. Joyce, the Irishman. Got to his destination. Celebrates with Wilmot.
Frustrating for Toby Green at the moment. Several times Starcevich has left him, gone up to help a teammate. Toby Green's been on his own out the back, but the Giants just haven't been clean enough to get it to him.
Shades of the Chief in that helmet.
Yeah, it is. Just a bit more attractive.
Sorry to Darren and his family. Here's Rayner. Got all the way to the other side. Now, Lockie Neal, eyes up down the line. You can see Joe, he got the two Giants defenders out of position. Rayner stalking, and that spells danger. High to full forward, it's one-on-one. Here's Charlie's time. It's conventional. It's not as fancy, but it all counts the same.
It's a great kick from Cam Rayner. It was a great passage of play. In fact, the game's outstanding. It's a one-goal quarter, but every single contest has got a consequence. And you saw Taylor come forward, hit the ball forward. It's a great spoil, and then Rayner runs onto it. And this could be... you might just let Connor Iden know about this one if Charlie whacks this through. He might sing the first verse for him.
For his second goal, hasn't been the greatest season for Charlie Cameron. And his inaccuracy matters continues.
He's built today into his disposals, Hutto. 15 disposals, that's a big number for a small forward, kicking at 18%. 80%, sorry, with his 15 kicks. He's kicked a goal, but yeah, just that last part of his game, you feel like he's on the verge of breaking a big one.
Still waiting for an update on Lockie Whitfield. He's still down the race. I've had some feedback from Jason. Here's Krzyzewski. Comes flying, sets up Jones. He's on a path to goal. Doesn't take the shot, or if he did, he didn't quite get it right. Lockie Keefe. The moment was big, and he tried his best to do the team thing and not take the shot. Brain intervened, poached it back. And just finding it so hard to score a goal in this quarter. The extremities of the pressure.
The last run there by Giants, the last ball move, looks like the Hawks of last week, except for that last kick by Keith.
Back through the middle, coveting the corridor this time. Starcevich to Berry. Into their possession mode and inside 50 to Dunkley.
Well, I mean, if he just takes his time here, and it's going to be a real dagger blow.
That's what the Giants do, the Lions do. They'll build up with uncontested mark, but they do it quickly. Ball's not in hand for a huge amount of time, much similar to the great Hawthorn team a few years ago. It's all about ball speed. There's about 5 or 6 marks there in sequence.
So Josh Dunkley, 6 goals, 5 for the season. It's a big kick, but like his teammates today, it's a wonky one.
So, Hutto, no real update on Lockie Whitfield at this stage. He's been down in the race with the physio for the last 3 or 4 minutes. He went to take off his boot before the physio grabbed him, so he really struggled for 2 minutes on the ground. So, Connor Stone is the sub, who has warmed up but not ready to go yet.
I think it was an injury in the marking contest. Well, see if we can track it down. The floated handball from Green. Unfortunate for Darcy Jones. He lost his traction. That's a high fend. And unluckily for Joe Danaher. Tom Green, though, he means business. He's a leader of this team. Into Ward. Could have gone short. He went longer, and it was anticipated well by Berry. The cut and thrust of a fascinating third term. Head down. Surge towards Cameron. Displaced. No whistle. Well done, Himmelberg. Off to Ash. A reload. It's set a half back. Under 3 to go in the third. 20-point ball game at the Gabba. 1 goal, 4 to 1 behind.
It's been a grind, Hutto.
So this end, the Giants haven't been able to score a goal in the game. They scored 1 behind in the first quarter and 1 behind in the third, and yet they're in the game.
Staring down now 2 quarters without hitting the scoreboard at all. And yet the Brisbane Lions haven't quite been able to put them away. 7 goals, 12, so 19 scoring shots to 9 tells the story.
Midfield back, he's on the bench. Oh, Jesse, if he gets away with that, he's got a prime shot for goal here.
But this remains their best way forward, Brownie. There's no question about it. So, I mean, in this last quarter, as we saw last week against Hawthorn, they're going to have to take the game on and go and give this bloke as many looks as they possibly can. He's their best chance of winning this game.
Spot on, guys. They've had more handballs than kicks this quarter, so you're right. They're building into that game the Giants like to play. Can this man kick accurately?
Good news, midfield is back. And the better news is that Jesse Hogan has the football with a golden opportunity for their first goal in over a quarter. It couldn't have been in better hands. The Coleman medal winner or leader kicks a huge one.
There's the Bunnings build-up. It's a great build-up. We saw it often last week against Hawthorn. Jesse Hogan's been outstanding since quarter time. The Giants starting to get some ball movement going. It's been a real arm wrestle this quarter. He just catches McInerney slightly unaware. He needed that better awareness there, big Oscar McInerney. But we've spoken about Jesse Hogan's accuracy this year, but his body work has been as good as any forwards in the competition.
And Gaz, I think this is why they go to so much effort to free up his man.
Well, and you have a look. You have a look at Derek Joyce here, who's, honest and everything else, but he every single time is outpointed by Jesse Hogan. And in that occasion, just couldn't get in the contest. So they just got to work overtime. You can see Harris has got him at the moment, but he looks absolutely the answer if they can get the footy to him.
It's his 60th goal of the season. Daniels was on the hunt, and it's Peatling who delivers again into the 50. And it's Max Grashevsky who takes the mark. Oh, this is a big one.
There you go, centre bounce goals that are a premium here at the Gabba. It's a bit shorter here, so you can get to the forward 50 area a lot quicker. But this man, Grashevsky, he's had one disposal, but you could argue doing his job. Harris Andrews only taken 3 intercept marks for the day, guys. So, they'll be weighing up, and I think that's why he's still out here.
Just 20 years of age in his 4th game. 2 goals of AFL football. He's given this moment 40 metres out. It's touch and go. It's go for the Giants. Good one, Max. Back
Just
to 8.
Rapt to see it, though. I mean, he spent... he's playing a role and he's diligently trying to go.
You wanted him to hit the scoreboard, Gary. Make himself useful.
Exactly. You want him to get involved. You just hope that his mindset has not stopped thinking about, but I also got to win the footy. So here, centre bounce clearance wins itself. I'm glad his mind snapped into, yes, there's an opportunity, I'm going to take it. And Joyce again. This has not been derogatory, but Joyce is your way forward. Whoever's got Darren Joyce must be able to draw the footy. He's struggling at the moment, whether it's a contested mark situation or on the lead, and that's a great result for that young man, Grashevsky.
Knocked the door down with good VFL form to get his chance, and has shown faith in the young man in the absence of Riccardi. Now the Lions' response. 30 critical seconds. Taylor took prime position, got Joe exactly where he wanted. And well done from one of the key defenders in the competition when he's at his best.
I think working his way back into form since quarter time, Hutto. Great signs for the Giants. They'll be loving that. One of the premier defenders in the competition.
I reckon you'll be having a chat with Joey Danaher at 3/4 time, the forward coach, to say, listen, you got to now get yourself back into at least halving some of these contests.
So the Giants have closed the gap. It was 30 points at quarter time. It was 11 at half time. And they've kicked 2 late goals, which could make all the difference. 2 goals, 1 to 1 goal 4. So there's 8 points in it. Both these teams desperate for a double chance. It's taking its toll. The tightness of the season, as it stands, the young and the old have to get ready for a huge last quarter. And it's coming your way at the Gabba.
All right, 3/4 time. I tell you what, folks, we have a game on our hands here. The Lions 7-12-54, leading 8 points over the Giants 7-4-46. What an arm wrestle that was the 3rd quarter. A total difference to the first 2 quarters, where the first quarter the Lions dominated, the 2nd quarter the Giants dominated, and the 3rd quarter, well, it was an arm wrestle. It was like two war horses going at it. And of course, the Giants late found their targets inside 50 and were able to score 2 goals where the Lions couldn't find their target. Well, they did with Charlie Cameron, but he missed a goal that he should have got for the Lions. But the Giants, they put on 2 goals, 1, and of course the Lions put on 1 goal for inaccuracy. Keeps the Giants alive, and of course with 8 points. This is still too difficult, folks, to pick a winner in this game. Who's going to win? Well, your answer is as good as mine. I don't know. It's at times it looks like the Lions are getting back on top. And then at other times it looks like the pressure of the Giants is going through the roof. It's stopping the Lions' run. And then the Giants just get that run and they look pretty dangerous. But we're only minutes away until the final quarter to see what happens. Let's have a quick look at the disposals. Tom Green now, there we are for the Giants. He's on top with 23, 11 handballs, 12 kicks, 3 marks, 3 tackles, 5 clearances, doing well. Will Ashcroft, 22 for the Lions, 18 kicks. Finn Callahan, 19. Just with the 18 there. Josh Kelly, 17 with Dunkley. Lockie Whitfield, 16. Cam Rayner, he's not going too bad, but he's not having the dominance he should, even though he's had the 16 touches. He needs to come into the game. He needs to make his presence felt in this last quarter. Lockie Neal just with a 16 also. Charlie Cameron, he's having a good game, 15 disposals. He's had 15 kicks, can you believe it? 15 kicks, 8 marks and 3 tackles. He's kicked 1-1. Should have been 2 straight for Charlie, but playing a great game nonetheless. We keep going down. Hugh McCluggage, don't forget your luggage. Chris, there he is. He's having a quiet one. He's just had 11 touches, 6 kicks, 5 handballs, 2 marks, 1 tackle, 5 clearances. So he needs to lift also. Just keep rolling down the board a little bit more. We can have a little bit of a look. Even Joey Danaher is being well held there. He hasn't done much today. He's had the 5 kicks. 5 kicks only. 4 kicks, I should say, off 5 possessions for 1 goal, 1. Toby Green. Also, can you believe it? Toby Green has had 3 possessions up until 3/4 time. That is something that you don't often see. 3 kicks, just the 3 kicks and 1 goal. So there we go. There's players on each side that need to lift, and I think in this final quarter, folks, we're going to see an epic final quarter. I think the pressure is going to be brought by both sides because it means so much to these teams whether they win or lose today's game. I said, we've got today's round and then 2 more rounds to complete the home and away season, then we're into the final. So this game could depend whether someone gets a home final or they've got to travel to play a final. Jesse Hogan and A. Chi, the multiple goal scorers, on the ground for 2 each. Callum Ward, Lockie Neal, Morrison, McKerney, Gruweski, Toby Green, Joe Danaher, Brent Daniels, Cameron and Callahan are the single goal scorers. All right, folks, we'll get back down onto the ground because we are within a minute for the final bounce of the game, and we'll let the commentators take over with me. Enjoy, folks, the last quarter here, where the Lions lead by 8 points in a fantastic game so far.
Starcevic is a very reliable defender for the Lions, week in, week out. Picks up the mid-size or the small forwards of the opposition, and he's done a great job tonight, whereas he's been able to hold Toby Green just to 3 disposals and 1 goal. And Starcevic has got off and taken his intercepts. He's been able to get involved in scores as well, but just blocks and continues to hassle Toby Green to the stage. Green got a little bit frustrated towards the end of that 3rd quarter and gave away a free kick here. See the frustration coming out. Now, as we know with Toby Green last week, he made a massive impact, kicked 3 goals against Hawthorn. 2 of those were in the last quarter. And it does appear that he'll play a massive role in this last quarter here today as well. Now, Harvey Thomas looks like he's been subbed out of the game for Connor Stone. So the Giants have made their sub. So Harvey Thomas out, Connor Stone in.
So one youngster replaced by another. Connor Stone coming in for just his third game of the season. It feels so delicate, Gaz.
It is, and the Lions will want control. We know that. They average 101 uncontested marks. They're about 84. The Giants have got to go.
Giants could be as high as second after they win today and after the weekend, depending on the Port Adelaide result. The Lions could slip to fifth if they lose, but could remain in second. That's their hope as this last quarter gets underway. And Buckley, if that's an insight into how the Giants are going to play, we're in for an exciting final term. Toby Green with a fumble initially, and now he gets the high contact, up to the disappointment collectively of the crowd.
Let's watch for the run and gun. If in fact it comes from the Giants, throw a little bit of caution to the wind and see whether the Lions can just hold up here.
Bit of side-eye there from Toby Green looking to the inside. He kicks towards Hogan, who capsized the pack. There's Lester, not much on the kick, but helps out Ashcroft. And then Dunkley. Neil took it. And back through Dunkley. Zorko had some time. He twists and turns to use his right foot. Not paid. And that was news to everyone. Brain did well. And then there's the angle kick from Zorko off the side of the boot. Bailey, was he taken high? He was. Connor Stone just on the ground. He gives up the free immediately. Zach Bailey. Taylor got there late. Out the back. Danaher thought about giving it off. He trusts his right boot. And this time, he gets the job done. Although it may have come at a cost.
It's a perfect start though, Brownie. I know they've got some concerns here with Charlie. I didn't see what happened, but he'll be okay, I reckon. He looks to be okay. But that's a fantastic start coming down the other end.
He's been over down the back of Taylor several times today, especially in that first quarter today, guys. He's dangerous, Joe Danaher, when he gets out the back like this. He's the injury of Charlie Cameron's.
Oh, it's a celebration
injury. Oh, there it is on the outside.
It's not funny, but he's gone to celebrate the goal and rolled his ankle.
It's a young man's game. He's celebrating.
Stay on the ground when you celebrate.
Plenty to celebrate though. They've kicked the first, and the tumbler from McCluggage might set up another. It was brilliant from Danaher. Buckley, can he get a handball to it? No. It's a hot start to this final term, and the heat is being applied by the Brisbane Lions.
It's great to see, Brownie. This is we saw a great chase down tackle early from Charlie Cameron, and now you got your big 6'3", your young key forward doing it. That's a really good sign, and it's about moments. And this game has been on a roller coaster, and right now they've grabbed a hold of it.
Absolutely, guys. And this is the challenge now. For the Lions, the set shot goal kicking hasn't been great. 4 goals, 6 to the Giants, 6 goals, 2.
Hasn't been great is an understatement. But Logan Morris is playing beyond his years at the moment. Good off the boot, but he's taken it as well.
Of course, but not necessarily in front of goal. That's really going to... This could come back to bite them, the Brisbane Lions. They've missed some absolute sitters from set shot situations.
That's be a nasty bite too, Brownie. Going for 10 in a row. Plethora of opportunities. Hogan from about 4 deep. Jones. Incredible maturity for the young man. They're off. Stone placing it through the middle. Oh, look at them stream forward. Callahan has one more give if he wants. Through the middle. Stone again to Perryman, to Whitfield. The overlap continues. And the only problem is the entry is so wide.
Keith just trying to give McInerney a bit of his own medicine back. So we saw early in the game McInerney charge forward, but this time now Keith is charging forward, trying to challenge Oscar McInerney's. Can he go the distance there from a fitness point of view?
There's your answer on your game style. It's coming from the Giants.
Yeah. Great shots, weren't they, from the coach's box? Nothing they could do in that. Ward ready to go again. Hogan in front and stalking. He almost takes it. He wants the free. Plenty of respect between those two. And really, Jesse Hogan had a pretty good argument, didn't he? Andrews is watching Hogan at the restart. McCluggage, Daniels. Hit it in hope. Leicester. Back to Bailey. Wide protection off the ball is ticked off by the umpire. Couple of youngsters herring after it. Brain as the tables turned and Jones becomes the tackler.
It was a Harris Andrews bump in a goal square, the Shepherd. It'll be very careful that you get it right.
Yes. So late in the year too.
Yeah.
So the uncertainty still hangs over the Gabba. Whitfield makes his run and he spotted a moving target, and it's Cadman.
I think that's the big move that Whitfield's gone forward here. So he's going to play that high half forward, come through the middle of the ground and
maybe
see.
He's not at full fitness.
Well, the ankle maybe, or the foot, which means this is the byproduct though. You get one of the best ball users in the competition hitting up your key forwards. So it might be just a win.
And the young man, Aaron Cadman, he's on his way. He almost kicked the beauty early in the game, and this time he has, despite the best efforts of Oscar McInerney. And it is back to 9.
Yeah, there's been some good signs from Cadman today. Is it because they just need to tidy up some of their front half work, the GWS Giants here? We saw the kicks, they had plenty of opportunities in that third quarter, but they weren't able to hit that final target inside 50 gas. So maybe throw Whitfield in there, a better distributor.
I love it, Brownie. I love the fact that you keep asking questions of an opposition. And maybe it is out of necessity, but we've seen that necessity creates great opportunity through the course of this year, and he's an elite ball user. You know he can find the footy, Lockie Whitfield. So there's the matchup. So they've gone the two great halfbacks, maybe the two All-Australian halfbacks are just squaring off against each other. So Dane Zorko's now thinking, right, just how much leeway can I take here, because I'll get hurt the other way if I get it wrong.
Back to 9. Keep with a backhander. Bedford takes off. Got the clearance. Kicks it out to O'Halloran, has enough time, full assessment, goes for Hogan.
Oh, gee, I'll tell you what, Whitfield was lining up as well.
There was orange everywhere.
It was, yeah. It's interesting, guys, because the Sydney Swans did that a few weeks ago with Errol Gould and on to Dane Zorko. Try and fight fire with fire. Again, Hogan continues on his good form since quarter time, Hutto.
Look at him, Hutto, lined up. If Hogan didn't mark it, Whitfield would have. If Whitfield didn't mark it, Cadman would have marked it. This is massive.
Well, he and Toby Green have kicked almost half their goals in recent times. But he's such a dominant force for his third goal, and they keep on coming. What a finish we're in for again.
You pointed out the ramifications too, so the Giants stay in the top 4, and maybe, depending on results, the Brisbane Lions can find themselves outside. But look at Whitfield tracking there, and Zorko starts to track the ball, and then thinks, no, I've got to get back inside because I've got a bloke who's as smart as me. It just so happened that Hogan drops into the hole here, so fantastic move from the coach's box from Adam Kingsley, and it's something that you're going to have to react to here. But Jesse Hogan steps up again when the Giants need him. There's that injury which occurred during a celebration of all things, the right ankle of Charlie Cameron.
It was Wayne Campbell did his Achilles, I think, in a celebration going back. It's the most serious one I can remember. It's back to 3 points. McInerney has his way out of the middle. Himmelberg in front, goes for the footy, takes the mark. To Buckley. And they come again. Darcy Jones. Free kick going Brisbane's way.
Joe Danaher's the one that's got to start making this contest here. A little bit frustrated with the last ball that came in long. Just get it to ground, if nothing else.
Play on!
Wilmot. Himmelberg versus Logan, and Himmelberg does well. Denied any semblance of access there for the young man.
It's good though. Let's get the ball to ground, even though it's from GWS for Joe Danaher. He's trying to get up the field now, just stay involved. Both coaches' boxes. Brisbane a bit calmer. Obviously the subs going on there.
Prior the sub. Ward the handball. Bedford back in. Worked in good collaboration with Tom Green to get the kick away. After a long and painful wait, they still managed to pitch and keep them guessing to the end.
Yeah.
Arm wrestle since half time, guys. A lot of stoppages.
It's so evenly poised. And this matchup, Brownie, just keep an eye on Zorko and Whitfield. It's fascinating. Whitfield's he's got a massive tank and engine, and Zorko's going to back his smarts.
Bedford. Instincts with a handball, but was able to get back and get enough on the kick. Krzyzewski makes the contest. It's Jones versus Zorko. Whitfield just flopped it over the top to Jones. And still they come. Andrews doing what he does better than anyone.
Bump ball.
Outside 5. Outside 5.
You see the Giants just quickly trying to take away the uncontested mark options for the Lions. They know that's the play they want to go into.
Outside 5.
Good accountability here.
Possession 21 for Dane Zorko. He's not convinced. So that's the short he takes. Peatling was ready for Leicester.
Stopped.
One thing he is convinced about, he's always going to take on that aggressive kick into the corridor. Rolls the dice a lot.
It's a good win for the Giants, though, isn't it? So Brownie pointed that out. You know what they want to do, and they've got it in their forward line.
Whitfield creative, at full charge, and two Lions work in tandem. Whitfield and Neal. Wilmot and Neal, I should say, to stop Lockie Whitfield's momentum, and he's charged towards goal. But they are a little closer. Keith.
Just Kelly on his own here. Just at the back.
Hogan coming up to the mess and the numbers, and then doubling back to the goal square. Peatling has a couple of goes at it. Dunkley had more fortune. Quick kick, Zorko. Could go anywhere. They were well stopped. The bounce of the ball. It favoured Danaher. Doesn't capitalise. He still might. The toe forward from Smith. Himmelberg versus Danaher. Close to the line. Look over the shoulder from Smith. Knew what he wanted to do. Had to get the ball first. Taylor not giving an inch. That's just the way the game's being played. And it comes to a halt. Instead of being at one end, it's at the other.
That's been a hard game, Hutto. Plenty of contests.
And just see Henry Smith on screen there. You'd think he'd be the likely one to be subbed out for Jackson Pryor, who's got the shirt off and ready to go.
Crowd absorbed. They want to play their part. Dunkley edges it forward. Same for Fletcher. They get a little closer. Logan Morris. Has anyone touched it?
Cornerstone kicked it through then, didn't he?
The goal umpire with the best moustache in the business says he thinks it's a behind.
Review underway.
Did it hit those big boots?
That was my first instinct that he
Review
kicked it
complete. Looking at this angle, we see the ball comes off the GWS defenders put it last before crossing the goal line. Decision on the scoreboard.
He's got better definitive eyes than I have, but anyway.
Yeah, he definitely got the boot to that. Well done. Young sub.
Yes, just confirmed Smith's just subbed out. Pryor's on the ground.
Thanks, Lynchy. Here's Iden. Giants still 4 points behind. Looping it over to Himmelberg. He's going to give them a good way out to Buckley. They've got beyond the wing to Jones. Let's just give the next one. Daniels escaped, but only barely. Well done, Leicester, to provide the disruption. Here goes Zorko. Just cruising along the wing and then kicking to half forward with devastating result. Logan Morris the mark. The leads are made. Lohman comes at the footy and he's got it.
Oh, well, Dane Zorko didn't have a huge amount straight ahead, so he decided to buy one off in the centre corridor and he nailed it. This is why Lohman's having a shot at goal, an important one. Dane Zorko, he'll keep pulling the trigger.
It's an incredible kick, Brownie. It was an incredible kick when you're leading by 4 points and the game's on the line and you've given up the last 2 goals of the game. To pull that trigger speaks to confidence, but also skill.
Kai Lohman, he's on the list of misses so far today. And that, unfortunately, is another one. 8-15, 63. It's been a hard watch for the set shots. That's 4 goals, 8 on the deliberate kicks today.
The great thing about Dane Zorko playing in front of him, Gaz, he could lead to multiple areas. He's got great penetration with his kicks and he can hit all the angles.
Himmelberg works his own angles, took a bounce. Krzyzewski starting to find a little bit of confidence. Takes the mark down low.
We got the spare here. Harris Andrews is the spare at the end of this.
He pops the kick, and there is Andrews. Keefe does enough. McInerney over disruption, Peatling the handball. Toby Green, it's not his day so far. Nice work from Ashcroft. You can see what he had in mind with a little handball forward. Pryor gets in to the act. Quick hands from Ashcroft. Brilliant hands to Morris. Bailey wants it down the line. They were ready for him. Taylor whacking away. Ashcroft trying to create more havoc. Berry lost his feet, but does get the handball away. That's Pryor entwined there with Callan.
It's a contest. Smother, just a critical smother there to keep the ball in the neutral territory between the arcs.
Whitfield can't collect. Swing and a miss, Dunkley. Whitfield a second time, more luck. Brain to Starcevic. 35 valuable metres. Rain has been pretty well quelled, but he still represents a danger. Himmelberg overran it. Rayner back at the footy. Got the handball away. Morris and Kelly the next to go. You got to take your turn when it comes. Right in front of Chris Fagan. Giving us nothing, Fags.
Daniels and Whitfield are changing off, so running on the ball on and off Dane Zorko. Zorko's the leading possession winner in the ground in this last quarter, so he needs to be watched closely.
Almost reached the halfway point of the final term. Brain to Neal. Retrograde, they go back. Pryor copping it from Daniels, and they get further away from goal. The desperation of the Giants is there for all to see. Peatling, what a game he's played.
Shevsky has not left that contest. Jesse Hogan, Darragh Joyce and Harris Andrews. Been fascinating to watch all day long. He's just played his role beautifully. Almost like Jesse's shadow.
Giants late to get organised around the footy, but it works out okay for Ash. Unfortunately, the kick doesn't.
That's not fine, Xavier. Yep.
Solid day, Lockie Ash, 18 disposals.
Come back behind
Starting
me.
to get back to his best form with some continuity. Both sides have their faith, and a whole bunch of young players that have come to the fore as the season's gone on. Wilmot plots a path.
So it's a breakdown, that first kick on a 45 into the corridor, unmarked, and then they are able to get it into the middle here.
He had options left and right. He's going right to Ashcroft. Oh, is that...
Can't run through the mud.
No.
The handle.
It's uncontested marks now up to 91. They average 108 a game.
Leading possession winner on the ground, Ashcroft. Off to the left-footed Pryor. There's distance on the kick. There's danger in it all, but it's averted for now.
And they build up as well as any team in the competition, the Lions. Number one for marks. They average 112 per game.
Lions led by 30 points at quarter time. It was back to 11 by the half. And gradually, the Giants have chipped away. It stands at 5 right now with 9 minutes remaining. Every kick mark and handball, important, the good ones and the bad. Stone, is that tackle okay? It is.
It's really wide. Fish coming up. Yep, coming through. Yep, good down, let the hole.
Very tight bunch here. Trying to create space on the outside of the lines.
Danaher one-on-one in the goal square. Lohman thought he might have been able to get through, and to some degree he does. Berry, the outside 50. Brain with the setup. Danaher didn't really read it off the boot, and the bounce was very accommodating for Buckley. Great desperation from Cameron, who's recovered. Wilmot was the swooper. But the kick is more like row 2 if it had gone any further. It's Connor Ryder.
Buckley's trying to take it on at every opportunity, trying to run this thing from one end to the other. Got off Joe Danaher a couple of times, been able to get the ball deep.
Iden. Cadman trying to keep Andrews occupied, but look what Harris can do. Careful, Harry.
It's only a couple of grand.
Who for?
Both of them probably.
Rayner buckled a bit easily.
Down to 8.5. Lockie Neal found a path which wasn't apparent to anyone else. Issues for Bedford. He tracked it well. Getting rid of it's another thing. The swooper was Lohman. Starcevic So off one, not another. Ashcroft well contained by Bedford. Here's Wilmot in his 50th.
Peppering. They are peppering the Brisbane Lions. They've been inside 50 10 times to the Giants 5 in this last quarter. Had some opportunities. They've just got one off the back of the pack that the Giants haven't closed up on.
Well, they're pulling up really high, the Giants. So they're getting a lot of their numbers.
Adam Kingsley's first trip to the Gabba as a senior coach has been an eventful one. Had to come from 5 goals, or effectively 5 goals down at quarter time to get this close.
Saw Errol Goulden well beaten last night and have a moment. You just still keep thinking that Toby Green might have a say in this. He's been dominated by Starcevic.
So they've got field position at the moment, haven't they, the Lions? Joyce with the footy. And that is a wobbler. Taylor. Quick give to Ash. Can they string them up now? That's the 4th handball from Daniels into the middle. Jones takes off. It's got there quickly. Gives Toby Green every chance. Cadman, he can see a way to goal. Did he kick it? Did he kick it? Scores a level.
Well, there was the Toby moment. He's got the free kick anyway. I thought for a horrible second there, Cadman had taken the advantage. Was going to miss Brownie, but just snuck it in.
Yeah, he did, guys. We saw this last week, didn't we? Against Hawthorn, the Giants just were able to move the ball from defensive 50 to the other end of the ground and score. They got 5 of their 7 goals from this source. They're doing it again to the Brisbane Lions. They're scintillating when they can move like that. And Cadman's played a decent game today when he's had opportunities.
Well, the free kick was there for front-on contact from Harris Andrews, and for Giant supporters, just for a split second, they thought, what have you done, Aaron? What have you done here? But the young man was confident enough to go left foot banana and whack it through. Scores level, clearances have been critical all day long, none more critical than this.
What a time for the young man to come to the fore. Brisbane have been in front all day until now. 7 minutes remaining. The hands from Kelly, the pick-up from Tom Green, channeling Polly Farmer. The Giants are in front, and it's the Jones boy. The kid with a coloured lid has made life very uncomfortable for Chris Fagan and the Lions.
Clearance, Brownie. Clearance is everything. Goes into the middle, and Tom Green goes bang, puts it into space.
Unbelievable. 4 goals from centre bounce now against a very good centre bounce team, guys. They've kicked 7 goals from stoppage, and they just hammer it forward, smash it out of the centre square. Look at the time. So created by a fumble there, then Tom Green. Have a look at that. Polly Farmer, eat your heart out.
I'm not sure even if you Google Polly Farmer, you'll see a handball like that. But I know you love Tom Green and the way he picks the footy up.
Clean
what he has created.
Clean as a whistle, wasn't he? But they 7 minutes. There's a lifetime to go. But all of a sudden, the Brisbane Lions find themselves behind for the first time this afternoon.
And how good young Darcy Jones. The tap from Keith. The soccer from Dunkley. Now the footy at the other end of the ground. So precious, clean possession. Himmelberg tried to get creative off the outside of the boot. It paid dividends. The handball was good from Whitfield. Callahan will trust his long kicking instincts. Into the middle to Peatling. The fumble won't cost. Iden, the Giants. Detour to the outer side. Here's Buckley up the ground. Sends it to the 50. Hogan, a big presence always. Down went Brain.
Hutto, we saw this last week. Now, still a long way to go, but the dominance in the middle of the ground, Giants against Hawthorn, and speed in the game. They've started to be able to move the ball and get away from, looks like lethargic defenders from the Brisbane Lions.
And as we mentioned, the live ladder as it stands at the moment, which we'll show you shortly, will have the Giants up in second place. That's Brent Daniels, and this young kid's unstoppable. Darcy Jones, he's done it again, Mr. Darcy. What a goal!
Oh, unbelievable there, Hutto. He's been fantastic. Since he come back into the team, they have not lost the game. He's the key. He's the difference. Getting too much space from the Brisbane Lions. These last 2 players, look at the amount of space he's been given there at stoppage by Shadow Brain this time around, and what a finish. Banana from about 40 out. Well, they've just got speed on the game now. They're starting to overwhelm the Brisbane Lions around contest.
Chris Fagan said at half-time it's been a clearance game. Have a look at this live ladder. Just don't tell me the ramifications of this aren't massive, and there's results still to come. But, hey, Daniel's again involved in clearance there. So Chris Fagan said this has all swung on clearance. Goals from clearance the last couple of occasions. First from a centre bounce, 7 from a boundary throw-in. What have Brisbane got?
4 goals this quarter from stoppage for the Giants.
What have they got, and who's it going to come from?
Brownie, we've spoken about this before. The Lions in the past, over the last season, they've had issues with small forwards. Now, Darcy Jones is, putting on a clinic in the last few minutes, but they had it with the likes of Hill, Higgins. Ben Keys kicked 4 here a month ago as well.
Keith thinks he's Simon Madden at the moment with the tap. Neil gets them in, gives Danaher a look, charging through, thought the gate was Rayner. Didn't get out with a footy, inflicted some pain. Cameron, little touch. Neil, Callahan.
5 unanswered goals. 5 unanswered goals to the Giants.
Hard to believe.
It is. It was locked there. There's one goal. I mean, the first goal of the last quarter was to Danaher. No one was getting a touch.
And they're away again. Whitfield. Hogan up to ground. Now they have a 12-point lead. I don't think anything's going to change. Jones was in the hunt again. Joyce does well. Now, how does he get rid of the footy? Back to the wing. Hogan turned into a wingman now.
I'm not sure who's on Jones. I don't think anyone is at the moment. He was out again, 20 metres into space there. He's had 7 touches in this last quarter alone. Kicked 2 goals.
Now, guys.
So Zorko finds him now, which means that Daniels and or Whitfield then get free of Zorko.
The old-fashioned coach's spray is back. Who would have thought this at quarter time?
It's
Adam
incredible.
Kingsley lit his team up, and geez, their energy levels have changed since that point in the game.
Tom Green heaves the kick as forward and as far as he can. Leicester, Jones again. Just his 10th game of AFL footy. He is creating havoc every time. Perryman deep. They might only need one more. Any score just about for the Giants. It's out of there, it's back to the middle. The hopes rise of Brisbane fans, but so does the pace and the effort of Iden. They overrun it. Charlie tried, almost came off.
Spoiled by Iden.
Giants again, and it's Callahan. They don't really have to go forward desperately yet. Oh, that's an error. Out on the fall from Whitfield. He claims he was pushed in the back. Talk to Mahan, says the umpire. It's coming back to the inside. McCluggage, long to Archie.
He's back.
It's all come back, Gaz.
He is back, Hutto. You've caught it beautifully. It's all come back to him throughout the quarter. Had a horrible first quarter. He wasn't alone. He had 22 other mates. But it just appears to me that he said enough. At quarter time, enough's enough. I've got to get back to it. And he's been superb since.
3 minutes 40. And it's agonising now for the Brisbane fans. They don't have the footy. We know there's time.
This has been a big move too. So they're going to possess the footy now like nothing else.
They're going to try and play like Brisbane, and Brisbane have to play like the Giants. And we've seen things swing around within games, within quarters, within minutes in this season. The season, if it's taught us anything, is that nothing is certain in football at the moment.
Too early to make a big statement, Hutto. This season will bite you.
Perryman up to the wing, up to another contest, which they are relishing at the moment, the Giants.
Oh, it's a
You're not getting away.
By Cadman.
Not getting away from Cadman, Bailey.
Been impressed, Gaz, with his game.
Yeah.
Aaron Cadman, he's been fantastic. Hasn't necessarily had a huge amount of touches. Only 9 disposals, kicked 2 goals too.
Tom Green's going back behind the footy, so just going to try and preserve this 12 points at the moment.
High contact.
They've been fantastic around these contest clearance situations, the Giants, since quarter time. 8 goals from stoppage, 4 of them this quarter against the great stoppage team in the Lions.
Peatling to send them forward. Harris Andrews, beaten again in the air. This has been another story of this game. Cadman, the emergence.
Big moments for this young man. Big moments. Take the 30 seconds, Toby Green saying. This gets it in under 2 minutes. Any score is going to make life just so difficult for Brisbane. And it'll go down again in this extraordinary season as one of the great wins if they were able to hold on from here, the Giants.
They've had one of the hardest draws in the competition. The teams they've had to play twice are all contending. They're always on the road, it seems, the Giants. They were down by 30 points at quarter time, but nothing has stopped them. They will be second on the ladder at the end of this game. They lead by 3 goals, and the Brisbane Lions fans might as well leave now. The run has come to an end.
6 unanswered, and let me just give you the goal scorers in this last quarter for the Giants, which will get you excited. Cadman, Hogan, of course. Cadman, Jones, Cadman. What about that for a last quarter from your future?
2 20-year-olds, Aaron Cadman and Darcy Jones, have kicked 5 goals between them. And look at the joy and the jubilation and what it means to the young man.
There's a bloke retiring at the end of the year called Tom Hawkins, who had a game, albeit in the grand final, where we all sat back and went, wow, could this be the Tom Hawkins moment for Cadman?
Finn Cullen now going behind the ball just to support the defence.
Minute 30 to go. Berry back to Wilmot.
What a win.
Yeah.
Something unbelievable would have to happen. This has been superb. This was a quarter of footy, the first quarter, when you go back and watch it. It's as bad as the Giants could play and as good as the Lions could. The only thing they did, Brownie, was not take their opportunities.
Yeah, that's right. That's what cost them. Should have been 8 goals up. That was as bad as Sydney's first quarter against Port Adelaide last week. In fact, more contested possessions against. Minus 25 they were. What a turnaround this has been. Credit to Adam Kingsley. He just came out. They split up into their area groups. He just pulled them together and gave them a good old-fashioned spray, which Lynchy could hear from about 50 metres away. And it's worked. Well, he's gone to a Gaz.
One of the other most impressive things about this, Brownie, is that Toby Green has had no influence in the game at all. And this bloke is just, he's Nick Revolt-like at the moment, Aaron Cadman.
He's got the same range and length.
They've kept Brisbane to just 4 goals since quarter time.
Composure.
8 themselves.
Ham, 2 metres back, 2 metres
Brisbane
back.
have had no answers. The same issues that they had in the first part of the year of return. Their poor kicking for goal, as you were just discussing. So there'll be the frustrations about that, and it puts them right back into the fight, doesn't it now?
Yeah, it does. And you know why they're back in the fight as much as any other reason is that bloke there, Sam Taylor, who just has gone, enough playing safe again after that first quarter. He's had 3 quarters of the dominance of Sam Taylor, and there's the pictures you want to see if you're a Giants fan.
No wonder they're celebrating in the box. They've had some great wins, this club, but none better than this. They were 30 points down at quarter time, but they have come from oblivion to dominate one of the 4 teams of the competition. An incredible victory. It is so 2024.
It is so 2024. They've kicked 6 unanswered goals, the Giants, against a team that have won 9 on the bounce on their home deck. They've kicked 6 unanswered to put themselves right back in the premiership frame.
What about the helmeted one, Gaz? You going to go and buy a helmet this week?
Oh, how about the young kids?
I'm sure Lynchy will. He's down there with him now.
Oh, I'm going to buy a helmet too, I reckon. Darcy, how good's that?
Man, that's unbelievable. Man, I don't know what's going on with our first quarters, but we always just find a way to claw back, and we did it against that. It's pretty good.
Probably, the trappies there, because you responded from the quarter-time huddle, you're going to get a spray every time you have a bad start to the game. What was in the spray from your coach?
It was just like we were just playing too slow. Not playing how we're supposed to play, and like when we play with speed and use the ball quickly from our back half, we ended up getting on top of them. So that was pretty much what you just said, and yeah, we did it. So. And
what's the instruction that you get? Because I mean, you must like playing against the Lions. You debuted in round 7 against the Lions and put on a clinic that day as well. So what instructions does he give you?
Pretty much just play with speed. and pretty much the main role for me is just pressure in the forward 50 and up the ground. Being an option out in the perimeter, just pretty much just running, really. That's the main thing.
You said you had some slow starts. How do you feel your game's at the moment, the team? Looks like you're needing to have big last quarters to get the wins.
Yeah, well, I feel like each game we're getting progressively better, and we constantly get reminded of what we can do if we play the way we want to play. And it's just very exciting.
No worries. And talk us through those couple of goals. You built a couple of quick ones, which made the difference and broke the game way open for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just got lucky. I just think I got in a good position, and our midfielders are good enough to use me, so credit to them.
We'll get one of your teammates in. What do you reckon about you young blokes that are starting to build a really nice combination? Aaron, congratulations on a great game. Well done, Darcy, as well, but you must be feeling pretty special with the way you finished off the game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good. It was hard all day. Competing down there against Harris. He's a big boy, so it was good to finally get on the end of a couple and get the rewards.
Was that the best you've felt? You look like you were launching at the ball with more confidence than we've seen of recent times.
Yeah, it felt good. I felt like today I was able to get a bit more separation than usual. Just playing a bit more physical, and it felt really good to finally get my hands on a couple. It's rewarding.
Working up there with Jesse Hogan, he must be a great inspiration. Like he's having an outstanding year for himself. No doubt, all Australian.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think Hogan's been putting in the work all year. He's, as you can tell, like he takes some unbelievable marks, like inhuman marks. So he's got the stickiest mitts in the league, I reckon, and yeah, he deserves that spot.
After the spray at quarter time, what was the instruction from Adam at half time? Because you look like you really turned things around, especially your contested ball and clearance in the middle of the ground.
Yeah, I think it all came down to our mids. Obviously, you would have seen we were losing contested footy a lot, so it was just cracking in the contest, getting the snout in the trough, and getting the hands dirty, and that's what we did, and we got the rewards.
How exciting is this? You're putting something together, you boys.
Absolutely. What's that? 6 in a row now. Hopefully win these last two in top 4 spot and going in the finals.
Well done. Congratulations, your performance. Outstanding. Well done.
Thank you.
Put your snout in the trough, Anthony.
Love that.
All right, folks, there we go. What a game. What a cracker game. I bet you no one saw that coming. The Giants in the last quarter put on 6 goals straight to the... That was the Giants, 6 goals straight to the Lions. 1 goal for the Giants, winning here 13-4-82, defeating the Lions at home 8-16-64. Just have a look at that kicking, folks. Inaccuracy from the Lions. 16 behinds to the Giants, 4 behinds. That makes all the difference. Holy moly, the Giants. We'll have a look at the ladder in just a moment to see what that happens. We had the poll there today, 79 votes, of course 77% went for the Lions and 22% went for the Giants. 1% went for good luck, but well done to the people who are going for the Giants. Commiserations to Brisbane supporters, but don't worry about that. You'll be in there for the finals in just a few weeks' time. It was just good pressure there from the Giants. They stuck at it. They wanted it more in that last quarter. So, there you go. All right, just have a quick look and we'll see who the leading disposal getter was before I end this live, because I want to head over to the Fremantle-Geelong game. Come on, Giants are the winners. They are the best. LC Bros, how you going? Welcome in. Will Ashcroft was the best with 29 disposals. Tom Green with 28. Lucky Whitfield there with 25. Zorko 24 and Neil 24. Let's roll down it a little bit. You can see your players. This is the line we're looking in right here, folks, with the cursor. That is the disposals on your players. It's just a little bit uneven at the moment. There we go. Cam Rayner, 17. Well, he didn't do much in that last quarter, which was needed. Unfortunately, Jesse Hogan got his game going with 16 touches, 10 kicks. He kicked 3 goals, so he did well. McCluggage, bit of a quiet day there for him, for Brisbane. And I guess one of the good things for the Giants was that Toby Green had absolutely no impact in today's game. He was well held. He was shut out of it all. If you have a look at Toby Green there, he usually a star for the Giants. He only had 4 possessions. He had 4 kicks, kicked a goal, but that's good news for the Giants. Them winning with him having no impact on the game at all. There are your stats for your players in this game. Let's just have a look at the goal scorers. Jesse Hogan, Aaron Cadman there with 3 each for the Giants. Darcy Jones with 2. Joe Danaher and Callum achieved best for the Lions with 2 each. And then we had single goal scorers to Callum Ward, Lockie Neal, Logan Morris, McInerney, Gretzky, Green, Daniels, Charlie Cameron, and Finn Callahan. Very early goal scorers for today's match. The AFL fantasy points wasn't high scoring by any player, but Will Ashcroft was the only player there above 100, and he scored 108 AFL fantasy points there. If you play that game, Finn Callahan 99, Tommy Green on 98, Josh Dunkley 92, Charlie Cameron 92, Jared Berry 91, and all the rest below that. So a quick look at the team stats. Disposals, there we go, very even. 3, only 1 the difference. The kicks, the Lions by, 30, 32, and of course it was about 31 handballs in favour of the Giants. And the kicks to the Lions, inside 50s, 52 to 46. Both had plenty of opportunity. The disposal efficiency, not too bad for both teams. The Lions better inside 50 efficiency than the Giants, but the Giants still got the job done. Free kicks even themselves out, 19 apiece. The hit-outs, the Lions won that by 16. The clearances, pretty level there. The centre clearances and stoppage clearances, not too much difference either. Contested possessions, Lions on top, a little bit harder to ball there. Uncontested, pretty similar. Turnovers, the Lions were pretty good there, under their average by about 20% there, so very good. And the Giants pretty well on season's average. The Lions took out the marking today, 103.77. Inside 50s, they had 3 more inside 50 marks, the Lions. Contested marks, 10 each. Of course, the defensive tackles, the Giants brought that pressure, definitely brought that pressure, especially in the second half. Tackles inside 50, 11-7 to the Lions' way. There we go, folks. Let's just have a quick look at the ladder. And what does that mean? We put that on. Let me just try and reload that, because there we go. There is the live ladder right now. So Brisbane, who are sitting second, and the Giants were somewhere down around 5th. The Giants have now moved up into second spot on the ladder, only 1 game behind the Sydney Swans, who are on top. Their percentage is probably the only worry, but that being said, there's a half a game difference. So percentage doesn't come into the factor with the Brisbane Lions, but it certainly does with Port Adelaide, Geelong, who are still yet to play today and tomorrow. So there we go, Brisbane down into 3rd, and well, let's just face it, Brisbane could drop down as far as 6 if nothing goes their way with the other results. But there we go, the Giants move up into 2nd. So that is the game today. Can Collingwood make it still? Mo X, I think that's lights out for the Pies, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm a Collingwood supporter, and I think, it was unfortunate, I think, at the end of the game there where McStay took that mark and the Sydney Swans player ran right over the mark. It should have been a 50-metre penalty, and that would have put the Pies in front and sent them on to victory. But the free kick wasn't there. But unfortunately, I think that's going to be the end for Collingwood this season. I think it's just going to be a little bit too tough. But, they had a lot of injuries this year, and I think they still did well. I think they'll come out pretty good, pretty fresh next year. And I'm looking forward to the Pies next year for a good season that they'll have coming up there. So don't worry about that if you're a Collingwood supporter out there. I think good things are going to come next year when we get our players back from injury, and we should have that full list available again. Absolutely. All right, folks, I want to thank everyone for coming into the game today, where the Giants were victors today, 13-14, 82 over the Lions, 8-16, 64. And just a quick recap in the other game there, you wouldn't believe this result if I told you. It's full time at Bloodstone Arena in Hobart, and it's the Eagles who got up. The Eagles have got up. 15-12, 102. They defeated North Melbourne 14-13, 97. Well, that was unexpected, because North Melbourne led from the second term all the way up until the dying couple of minutes in the final quarter over there. But well done to the Eagles. Well done to the Giants. All right, folks, that's me over and out. I will see you on the next game. And the next game is the Fremantle Dockers and the Geelong Cats. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. We'll see you over on the next live then. Come back and join me.